My name is Rose Brian Ochri, the CEO of Rolling Garments. Rolling Garments is a clothing brand here in Accra. We specialize in corporate wears, wedding gowns, kente gowns, and more. Our vision is to produce elegant clothes for any body type or any occasion. We are located at Makati here in Accra, Ghana. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Watch out for the Rolling School of Fashion and Design. Rolling Garments, simply elegant.
Kamoko ba yo no echake o oyue mo kenklen. Ne ba ho yue le eyue mo. Efe nye hegbele. Aka gama bi kanye ta game atonde min tete. Nye yue tui. Bo driver phone you ehun. O ko meti e gama bi be nye yue tui. Ni nye yuo be no ayo aye nye no. Ka chako yue mo ayo no. Nyaha wo mi asha ni wo hie aba wo yue mo no ni wo yue kemi hye ko yue na eja tete o yue mo ni nya wo kase a wo yue mo ni wo yo wo yue mo he sole wo ye jo ni wo so he wo ye sablan nya wo te afenshi gamen ke adangmes wo no fia no ya kono ke fel wo nye ka ha wo mbo wo nye mo wo ni bia no wo shipon Shimwa watching a fan here. You what is what the Moshieko? Nimba what palogo yo. Nimba what dawe yo. Nimba what chokacho yo. Nimba fan yo. Ya what the ashie. Konya na wake game. Gadangme bi. Yes, I name no akamoko ka chake be greater Accra keba Gadangme region. E ngon na pi call you a magwe. Engon na ka fele na kai. Chiate shi keke na bafi. Ke ashi woni femo asa. Ni ana ke lele na kai sawo. Wonye ha wo fia ekome. Mling bla mo fachon. Ka won megbe ni wo musunye wo hie. Wona agbe he ba afi kuncho eno. Shika wo yicho nye wo hie. Wona agbe he afi shwelemo. Nya wo chi amusu eke ya ase. Ko ni yicho anye nye hie. Twa ni o manage no afi wo no. Amen.
I talk my way. I talk my way. I talk my way. We was some more to so to back up phone. I talk my way. Can I have it on me? I talk my way. I have to I talk my way. We was some more to so to back. In can I talk my way. I talk my way. I talk my way. We was some more to so to back. Kabunai to lock. I talk my way. Can I have it on me? I talk my way. I have to I talk my way. We was some more to so to back. In Kabafo Mao, Impao, Ike Anu Hebo. Monita Bokalebi, Sunday Canyon Feni, I'm a buffebo. E wa mini krano ba ko le bana bo boy. I talk my boy we was some ko to so ba. Mo ba fo ma o, impa o, ike anu o epo. Monita bo kan lebi Sunday can no fe ni amo po febo. E wa mini krano ba ko le bana bo boy. I talk my boy, we was some more to so to ba. I talk my boy, can I have it on me? I talk my boy, I have to I talk my boy, we was some more to so to ba. I met them most of the vegetables were polole. Some more to so to ba. Some more to so to ba. Oh, me quest for a fan, okay. kentomanso. Samo koto sodoba. Utonye mefenye tofano kemlimpa. Samo koto sodoba. Otonya butu pata uye ngomfe ofitemi. Samo koto sodoba. Okole kokweme bobake mabiasi kakasi. Samo koto sodoba. Inke samoe anyemi. Samo koto sodoba. Oyo koko. Samo koto sodoba. Inke sana bono akanole. Unye ingomi yopa. Mama na bono kago fe. Ehimbo akura. Ejacha bodente no me oe pede anileke ni naboe. Samoe oto. Ami yeliju kodo twa la shishu e mo leke madia ni bife. Ike bobaya tu ekula mo yamie. Samoe oto. Ike samoe. Samo koto sodo ba. Samoe. Okitonye ma bife blue. Samo koto sodo ba. Koden tomu sumbi okamena bole. Samo koto sodo ba. Oh sipon kome o meno kete. Samo koto sodo ba. Akulo ekakla agbebeme. Samo koto sodo ba. Ewa samoe duloe. Samo koto sodo ba. Oh wopunwe sipon efe no kentomanso. Samo koto sodo ba. Oh mantekura yasipon homo aiwo. Utonye mefenye tofano kemlimpa. Samo koto sodo ba. Otonya butu pata.
Yo, akosa okuto se ojogba si atrakma ye gbonu aje. Ilala ayomo ni ewo ekomeni yo minji eke o mo shipon kome e ha men baba o olowo. Atrakma ye gbonu aje. Samo okuto se ojogba. Enyemi no atakofi lala no wonu ne. Edi uto lala. Ubanyona ye YouTube, ubanyona ye stream fe ni atralala. Plama srote fena atralala ye no ubanyona nekelala lala wiemo yemi hewale yemi ni wiemo ni yo mi ko butue ha ni ke no ko fompo ni ole ake ofe shimonwe ni lala wiemo wu ake atrakma ye gbonu aje besa ni ona ake na kan no fio ochi ohe kejemi yo chamen kanyame akago ago shikomeko ke ahịrị mi no ko amem lenje here no chamen kenyeme man blue bi ni bomitue inso loe inlobi me inwumen ke inanye men ofia moni obo manyeti show hwane na etue nke mi body manye na ka no memba opleje jomo ke ha mofia moni bomitue keji ochi oplama ke fon manyeti show hwane na obimtue be nke shida kwete nkleji no ni mimba chofele hu de njomo ke habo ni benemi ni oba no ba akwe ni oba ya makpafa ka ba Philippe keke ni uti shimoe keji oba mimpe bomode ake bohu oba aja ni moko ayose wosegbe bi e wo yo no fiano ni keji woje nshineke wo mo ni wonyami yo na akwale court Mrs Nati ika adafi ba ajega keba hawo eke wona hegbe wogbla adafi emi je be fe ni adafi epe shini bi hu ba mi srote ni no hu wona hegbe ni wo wi otmo mena gbi ne wo ba kwashipon hemo ye ga yiji gashipon no hemo ke o heshipon ye ga man sorry gaman alo gana man gbeji anoto ni kamoshin ni esani bokemi fe wo kase ni wo le mena no jino ni wo ba hwehe no wo kejo ni na me makpa fa ye shiba mi je gbele fa shimo e bomoden ni oja ni mokohu ayose wose o plama srote no yo no fe hani men konkro me hu ayose wose egbe ni fe mo ne wanyame yo kome ni atole Roland Garment ni wo henyomo twane ne ike promote program no ofio Roland Garment keji ota men ameye Makati Hill gono amepo ni ojugba amepo inflow atalewa de enche atale fe no osmo ni oba ye shapo mi ni akwa chocho ye boy anale e ba pele fe habo ni ko wu abaje ni fo ya ye kinso etu emi Trake Ipole Fair forward, dienche. No war Bomaday, no na Roland Garment, ye Makati Hill. Amena me say, Nkwashweshi, Keji Utawo, Echencho Obatra, e adverte koni ona, ni buhu uyose amesegbe ni onye oya poni ye jem. Ni femonu wo yo mene makpa fai wo be fa kra ni wono ni yo minji ake wonyemi yo na akwa lekọt Mrs. Nati ikada fitra ba abo ya mene konu wona gbe ni wo ke wo guest ni wona mene ne ke wo ba gba shipon hemo sanjingba wo ba chele mlan koni enye bami ne ke wa ba gba ne kasa ne mene blapa eba plama no fe hwe nye fe nke min show insomo ke hanye nye yura don nye bomoden simo nye ja ni e ya shon nye ja ne ya shon manyeti ngbe ake hefia he wo ke ngbe hefia hele mi enwo hinoi nke dromo keke mokone ekwemi bia ne na nkwe tamomi muni ntabie na nkwe tamobo no relax ni ona ni o relax ni o gbojo o se mi ina nkwe mu ntamobo wo jele mi fe bebe pepe mo fia mo nhwe ni enanoko konklo ne wo mo ntwane na nhwe ji ake ma hwe ake obomoden ni oja ni femo ni menstroti ayose wo segbe nya ni nke flamo aha ison le fe ngene ma ha shout out baba o dienje I promise to give a lots of a shout out ngene ne wo me niji kenklen amache wo nililoy ben I mean many medane ameke wo titru come rain or shine amefata wo here manga mofia mo le ake nye ifa be ko me in escape or name se ko me nye le ake jeni njigbe nye le ake be wo nye ke kiomi wo na kano nye ano man de ma auntie Alice Ampedu keji obomitation ne ofa ne mi habo shout out mi ngabo shane ne na kano hu manga Mr. Abe Joseph Abe le hu ake echenchon wo ba no gbe e ake bo e ko bale ne keni bi land acquisition ke na kan apasa bibi bi ani ake hio ni bi osmo no ba jaje ni bi ami echon wo yo yake wo ba no na kano nke ngamo ekon ba ngam Auntie Elizabeth Ajete manlizi all the way ya Nigeria man manlizi shwanene ufane nke mimbode manye ke ngamo tu abo ife ano yo na kano hu imamfio Auntie Amele ufane no message nke oba yue ko ni wo che wo manye ko mepe ne kule next kalo next 2 weeks ni iko ba bagazien gasanjin ke manye ma sanjin ke manje ma sanjin o Auntie Amele ufane here kpako no kra I appreciate your contribution anytime ni utwa woto ise oyura don if you know yo nakano akamansa ogbele to mo ngbe pepe ni wo gbe kemi che won na akamansa ufane if you know yo shanene shida ahabu ake uko wono bo to be fair be nakano mambedu nhwebo mambedu ihe omi ya ake if you know yo shanene oye ojogba ke won ya no ihe pa Auntie Sylvia all the way from Germany eke bye egbena dinu beke we egbena Auntie Mambedu ofane mi hebo shanene mi hebo awa tu echenchon oba nu ehe bia ne maya shara abeka la paz erenele ena ama adumotrotro se abeka bi ya adumotrotro se ni mabo La Paz. Hey, La Paz. When ya beka La Paz, abeka son lo pe. Minga shanene mi hamofia mo shout out. Mi yo mi yake nye ojugba dienche. Moni bo ojugba dienche pulenche so no ba ni nale. E ba na hiwale shanene ko hi oke yo peke mo abamli ke ne ba abami hu habo. O abeka bi fe minga nye fe shanene na ka oba ya jenye pe eke manyeme nke mancheme akpe manyeme nke mancheme akpe ni nke pe bi eko onukpa ekome ma ha me shout out nyemi imami fio insist onukpa manye na chocho soyo shane na efia no yo manyetike ba ode manye we pa bo fa ni enu ohe no oko emanye hanle na kan manye me fa ya keke nche ni shifa abayimi shi be fa ni wo makpa 5 fiope oba jenshin no wanyami yo na kwale court ike ni fe mo baba ka ba hwe shi down ke igbena peno agbene ke wo ke wo resource person ni e ko ba gbaneke gan shipon hemo eminsanjie gbeno ne sa no chon ni oba na le ojugbo he shipon ye ni be ko ba he mansun ko twa ba he kenaka ni biye e ba ba chon wo fe wo ke ba ma introduce le ma hanye ago mankra naki ago mankra naki kwe ofane minga bushane na ehifia no yo naka no ahuma bosco okansi ke onu hie ofane minga bu nyegbe emichichi asafu ache tempo ni ji 8 ni ji 8 ofane bohum minga bu wa de nche enyami no ni ashite kwe chale mi abo thumbs up chale ke ishe journalist bi ene ken le be woni femo echake kra de lala na yeye noti ofane bohumi ngabo gbeji enfa kenke ma chefe ngmenem wo gbe na apa ne wo ile ake amete me nkome bo mi tue mo shije me fe lumo boy moja lumo boy moja niji enyo ofane bonka onu hie nke flamon ha bo hwane ne efiani oyo na oblatai manye na oblantai manye ofane bohu efiani oyo thumbs up ke habo nye ni femo eso ga hie waya no ne ke no wo ga ke ma wo hie ni wo tu ga he ni nene hakpo ajoate gbeje mi mfa gbefa shefia ke oba afu no ebiem ko no wo gla onye mi yo na akwa le court ke ba na kanon nke shout out ha Amazing Grace Association bi fe le hu ni be fe bi enyenwa me ni yo ku emi enyenwa nye ya no nye bomoden na kanon Phyllis Dodu ofana minga bohwane na hefiani ojo liake oyo jogba nye nukwe ke la cho the Lord is my shepherd I shall not want mien sabla na iken tepenke yeho ajimi kwelo intem kokoko no miento mushi ken wie na kampe temo ninte ponu akente isablani oke mba kpagbe ke mi kpagbe nke sablani ke boko gbantu epo pa nke yeho ajimi kwelo boko gbantu eke mi ya no o mi embe mi mfun le wa mi ile ake bo hu iba wa bo koko iba hi no na tole mi mfun ne ba ni madam mi mfun no ni kwa fe noko ni se mi ma hwan here le ekpa ye hi eyanse ke wa afi no ko enya wo kaya ake wo dwen ne ehidan dani wo fe wo ke shikome gidigidi aka fe no ko ni wo hwa wo he wo se no won wie na lebe nya lenche mami mami ni kemi ma city mama afi ai ma afi mami hu mami nyem hu mpo ma afi oye echenchon obana Kate Amisa owusu eke welcome anyeti Auntie Kate ofami hirebo no ke mention na kanonya mi yo Lily Alote eke manye hello manye nate sister mi hirebo no ke mention looking good dromo ni lacha hu lacha ncha hu ake mbu fai le woken gbo bla bla le eleni lacha ncha ba le no shu mi abu o gbo bla Josephine Koki Makati, hello, sweetie. Hey, we are here. Sister Oyuradon, Auntie Josephine, you know, a job if you know your Mary. Greetings, my young man. I salute you. I believe I can mene wabanu ugbe, one ugbe, Priscilla, Amankwa. Hello, Auntie Priscilla. Oyuradon, okay, well done, Auntie Priscilla. You know, a job if you know your Danny Oti, Danny here, Paco, no, well, last boss, Jibo. Last boss Danny all the way from Ireland. Danny Wangabu Shineke. Hello manye, nice to see you. Makpanya fire Kenya banom wo pe waka ko wo nya wo ja your plama sorty no koni wo ya wo him nene no ba wie heji ake shipon he moye Ghana ni bi gbadiano to mo fia mo ke mba kpagbe ake Manchemen, babao, especially ye gan, shipon, kenke gashpon, be minchon, the land of Accra, the land of the Gadangme, say. Men babao leake, koya ishpon, manchemen, hon shipon, ke isa unake mokupon, be mo heke de manche kode, dani lenche hon enin. She no one no jiake, beno right, she no he shipon, ni afe he wolo no fia no ha boe ekule jeme no je dakan be mini onna obu ohia ko ya ma tun no wo ya alo ya afe no ko ya shipon no wo ekule be no wa ko mo nyon ko me nyon je ten nipa ko o to be ake o ya machine alo ya ma no ko ya fe project ko alo no ko krede ko ye o shipon no jeme ni oba na aka so ma shipon ni bo ya wo enyon mo ni aka afe ke ojinji o mini na afe ye ha bo jeme no ba na aka sma shipon me dwe ke me nu mo shipon ni na ahon ha bo ni ke bale ho ake o ya ni o ya ho shika ke anso shika shipon ni ho ha mi nya ho ha mo ko conclude nya ba ho ha mi na ba ka bo stories aba gbawa desa ke bala ke be o pene o he shipon don wo aka wo shika bo le ho no another adesa keji oni ne ba sho shika no to ha bo Inkpanje ake men baba o ni ya na kan ni amenini shosh shipon yeah shichiton lo Inkpanje ake men baba o ni ame fio na kan amenini sho ame shipon atwa shipon e manso keje blema ni wo hie fa ke machine keje blema ni wo hie fa atwa shipon he manso holololo mene atwa shipon e manso wo mi e ke fie mbia ake Womeni tafla che wo yo se shipon manso keje blema hu no lo ya no kegmene no ya shipon asani bohu oya fe victim alo mi no jino ni kefie miss money ma bibi ni wona eja ke wole keje blema ake be fe be ni oke oya shipon ye gan shipon no ni oya fe project ko be no ba ele hye ahon ha menyo ahon ha meten e ka ke bo ntwamanso ni da ne manso ne mengbo po ye he nke anya kote shipon no ani a hayo jo ta choleta wele ake atwa me langas jo lebe na acho ye gamie langas be brofo e gan lenle langas wo ke won ya gamie to wa chelete many men guard the land wo shipon nyane mwe shipon asra fui alo land soldiers chamen kenya me wakako wa fe mno bo ke min pagbe minto ma ha me special name be no ba ele hiem ni oye shipon no ni okehia na ba yibo poto aba yibo kwe mlenche nya minu na se otun jimi ni won he shipon na ke nya bomode akanya he shipon wo ya na ya to workers ni abon shipon no atu eheni ye nke ayinya minu na hu awo kwebe ni fe gbapo ehue mi ayinya minu na hu keje dromo na kwe shipon e wo nya minu kwe etegbonya dani ebe ba she ni olololo ne keni ne ejano wo mene wo ke wo ba mene wo wie gakusun baba o wo wie ni bi ke wo nyame yo na kwale koti ba ifi aka be she baba bia no wo ba wie gan shipon e ba wie ke adafitra baba keke beta no e ka gbe ne wo kwe wo shipon ni fe mo no go kome mo masuma kenye fe nya ha meji me pa fai nye bo mo de nye sha ni nya kia me love ninje shen na love pa o ewo mi hiwale agbene no love fa don ewo hiwale fen yashi hiwale fen yashi mi gbanye fanye ke love abanye ke love anye like they no like no love ke fuel in body ona no pe ke je na gankwe o ya to mo tuwe ko ke ina mi na chole ona na kan nu na awole dokodoko star ko ko si prefer ko fa mo tuwe o nu ya to ko shin yeso mo son iwo ye bi anya mi yo na ka le ko te ma sheshike gidi nke gana ngo ya ke ole apasafo yeli ke kokonza efa ono fiano aba apasa ye bi no wa ishe je na kani yo na ka le ko te Mrs Natsi inya yo teten
Manya dromo
mo dromo kemi ye nya mi dromo kemi ye wa de nje dromo kemi ye wo mebo ekeni okada fitra eba ha wo mbi le ke chefe ba me fe ameye ojugba
Manya drama song.
Yo. Nakai. Yo na kwale. Wo ma habo igbe ko ni noni yomi okuma hawo. Ochinele ngono sanjin ke nibi kome ete ke genklen ke ache wo papa Henry Cote sanjineva ho. Aw. Nke Ghana ngo ke mo ke Ghana ngo we kwe ble ole mani ngo to Ghana. Enye yo ke wa ya wo bobotue.
Yo, my mommy again, papa, shani, ne, Mada, many a banana call live, Facebook, or social media handles, Cabinet, or online radio, or some other film was she actually never was she, many in name. My negative of film on me, bear me, because you found emergency, Abu Modern emergency, Kebaje, war. NPP man Sajana Tom Kue, I'm a Shitabo here, no Nijakishi, Governor of NDC, I'm a presidential and parliamentary race, the Misaja Feba, our Triboloy, yeah, Maneti, Manabani Femo, no, I ever heard when about say NPP, no, you know, NPP and Jagashi nation, why didn't they take the presidential race to no, you know, you are the honorable Ken Wood, who was so a Hanana Yakishi. The game baby presidential race ne again ni 2-horse race no jaga shi ogbongo enyo afuege ni adie ni no jaga shi ni match wa deje ni wo do ni abon mo fe mo a file nomination ni jaga shi is mo alo ba mo ko ni eje again mo yin lo ye bia ni mo fe wo le jaga shi na adu damwa e kufu adu ele ebe eshe akashi enyenyi eyimanyenyi olodo akashi bofan wala akashi 2 times 8 years no be manye do take eshi ni yebiani aya ni ya fi emi saja boni baba le o man what to bulo ana lele se so okay people man saja na to mo ko ba pasa shi mo ko NDC yo jake ye NDC mo go bani word tutu Ghana ma nye la John Dramani mama ebo ehewo modern ni la kenche enyen out to le ko banana akashi am a flag bearer after 2024 general elections ni ba ya no o jaka shi lolo John Dramani mama kan e gbe bona fe ni man anye ajano ni eba gbese gbe ne ke NDC no jake sekina mama mo na ke shamba cha ya bona fe ni Ekomefemo, American Ekomefemo, United Front, Motunoni, Amabo, and American, American, Afi 2024 general elections by an Jakashi, ever modern HM, by executive delegates, so that mo film on your NDC man, Sajana Tom of poor, the many small NDC a Pakishi Beashi, there's a Kamina feel for me, American Vilmo. Be a naked Sajin Komeni, Kate, Aloni Baya no po, a camphor amenagian thing. Bona fe that she let a Yakashi can be blam of Martin Pay, or Jakashi Eke Nation Yeun Yen. She can Kunieli Aba, defend the money, Anyan Afil Kome, ni Ayan, Quali, ni Aje through the phone, Yemo film or satin, Bona fe ni Anyan Aye, Ukuni fair for Nobel John Dramani Mama, a kind a way dear. Wale bona fe ni bofan origin amenya meje 2024 general election say manye keji oba cha wo kan share mo no jagashi wo papa osofo nupa bishop ajin asari no mo chine mi o jagashi egbe yin mi wa ni che sanjele pidrete no shima sama kai chocolate shi o jagashi no manage o ti no no ka ba ne pe fan ne nyele ke bishop Ajinasari Kenegen Nogopo Sajine, Nojakeshi Bishop Ajinasari Nenile, Enye Paris Chapel, Nija Safoni or Ghana, Mane Yepiani, Shia Hoba Popo ye, Safuemi, Yabalakish, Yachen again Nogopo. Well, legs too small Jakeshi, Jen Nogopo man be Shimoe, Nogopo ni me be a lair, Alike won balloon, Nakai, Nogopo man, no Germany get to do more Yakishu. Naka Nogopo, the Jakashi, what she get near the Chapo, Alapenakan, while she yo what you while a new fee. ni enye ni ebu le ya safombi ahe befen be ni abala keshi efi akemoko efo na kan party epe ni nugokpo majiancheme ma bi ni nugokpo keda bi ni achon amemiefu no le Bishop Charles Ajiansari mo yu oni after the fitwalo na abuamo ye nugokpo ye Ketu South municipality ye anglo kokpa no ndi Volta region ni actually ahanle bi ekumekpo nyuma ke ejo 14 days ni ebomode ni eba ni ba pafai Chemen bia keshi enyen eba amehia doban no jakeshi no ni ochine mieme bi ewie jakeshi 14 days ele jakeshi eswetmo gbenyoko ni ibanye ni ehye ni mekuma susu akeshi le Bishop Charles Ajiansari ekaya ekpon susu akeshi ebomode ni ya pafai jakeshi je won na chele ta flat e shimoe Majiacheme ni onugokpo ka onukpa ni onugokpo manu jimeni amefoni ni amechela ke eba ni enyen eba jie ina ekulesa ni emoe emigba mokoye fenoni amenue ni ekeba ha amejeme no jake wo fe wona wole agosi le Bishop Charles Ajiansari ni edenche e fata lopa pa ni le denche inga le ho anlo nuni ni bofen boni jin ebi ebo yin gbe ko me anlo gbe ka fata amegbe ni le denche ko egebu ame no bofen boni jin me susu akeji ete abanna mi ale shi ekuma hu susu akeshi ke ete ka okwe na yin agba yele eke enimo ifel no kaje ba yin e ka fan inajia kra sani badu hu e ba bia keje ba yin le Bishop Charles Ajiansari ebo modan keshi ibaya ni yakpa fai ni keji eba himpo esan emma sukuchu ayonoko kato na jia e han hwie mo ni ewie keshi nogokpo won ni mekwa mo susu akese wie keshi nogokpo majiancheme ke me abofen ni o nogokpo ni ami manye bo bacha wo shiemo no na kanu ni kaji wan channel pe ida kashi otine mi mekwa na kole easy ni ji Kenklen bikin ko tukwa janyo no 1st June wo you on me abona me register kwa me SIM card na ke pete ko Ghana card here abomoden akeshi deactivate amajia me system me kra no onyo fi ko le onyo na message ehun onyo data no ka social media no shi manye no ni hu are ho jakeshi ekume hu ji me na me register me SIM card amacha process CFM shi ni ajeje me ni register ku ehun ajia me yemli no jakeshi eye na agba wa de nche achon ajia ahun me ko na register me SIM card mo wode nche speaker of parliament ake speaker de nche the modern telecommunication network ni manye ogara o sani telecommunication network ni le de they are register ato nupa ni mo le po ka be isian sile de nche mo telecommunication network head office de nche they are fair registration for shini aje me ni register ko ka me Ghana card ni wo yo ne le aje le enye ko le enye receive ko e gana ndole jake ske ti mo ko chale na ba yu ake shi o mo no cha mo register ko SIM card e wo je le pa me ga no be ami na to na shu eyin asidinu e shile ebu oga na mlanu nikaji atogbaja na to ku no hu e ji na pepe me wo e bi ko ni abomoden ni agbele SIM card e na e hale no jake so ti nem ni abomoden ache eslawusu to bani woli ele ji Ghana money Minister of Communications na leji money ewa ni ekeneke telecommunications network na cha ya na mechu ni so achele kete manga tina fara boy shi parliament house na agie ina akemi newo ni a block me a SIM card wo fe wole akeshi Ghana card na ebo na ka register SIM card ni tie mo fe mo ji money na e Ghana card eko ke fata na kan no hu me hu na mete ama register me hu ame no mi newo isaka gia me system me ka system me fault ye mi newo sake point ame block me say 8 million Ghanaians SIM cards ye wo Ghana money no jake she yare osani wade je no mo na iwia hu no you on not ni kani anye anami eha me ni a block ame SIM card e jake o mo ni bo shika ye o phone e no abangu ogbani klo nye ojie no jina ni estawusu anali akeshi no la banya na fe kewa ame shi ye no sele ja obomoden ona Ghana card eko ni okay register sim card dani abanye ni on blocky bo manye saji atonkoko ni te no chine meja keshi woden che wo ejako ni wala keshi ekeche wa movies ke ya ke ba keni ejako nye ye yo wa drama na leke ni esho mansion ko do ba ye wo Ghana money e baby be crack $1 million mansion
Yes.
no ni la den che ya
Hey.
mansion ele je movie ne peneji esika shi mo asusu akebe politics ne ke awomli no jina ni enye na ne ke shika na ego ni le hu ebo eyo modern akeshi emmachuwe no obe ato na ali akeshi NPP na meke ya no ya no de ba eya mepo awon ake amebo amewo modern akeshi amenyen amema mo mansions ke di ke jem no be manyen aye megbon ke ebie wa shi megbon ke mo mansion no be Iyanu fefo edamo boni bodenche o banye ni bo hu onye office yeneke NPP amalu namely manye ochinemli wana wali ake wo basic school niji wodenche wo primary and JHS ne gbeke BM aha na ali akeshi ama pero na actual akeshi water and electricity bill niji 10 Ghana cedi abahi yamedi in the electricity company of Ghana ke agbane Ghana Water Company Limited ni amiha wana wali yakashi bobani wali buka bi ni ya titiri government school ni amewo nyomo amepe like free basic school le kan ye tuni shimo akeni bi ane buka bi e fan ke ni bi ya me classroom amefo nu ke ni ke fo amede ke fo amehi ke ni neke electricity ke water bill ne le ECG ke Ghana Water Company Limited ehana liake ambawe nyomo neji 10 Ghana cedi wona fe ni no akewa amalo na nya akewu neke nyomo fefo ne amanye se kuna mabote wodenche wogan ma certain danike na alidan kufado a video ko ni no jake shinke send bodani wa play BBN wa we ehisa fio ka wa mbote wodenche wogan ma certain ni bi abonate no chinemi no jake shi to boni wolile ni wona e wo social media no wo abolo blind manche ni e abale ake ete interview ye ada feature anu tumo ko me ni oblanya big me amete amapu eno ni no jakeshi ameha ni femo ni ya no life o jakeshi e ba fe basa shimo anya chanu ke ni femo e proko community no e abala keshi manye sani ele ni wo ne ya ne anyen amo na oblanya manche se pene reports one nation o jakeshi keji o na lobana ke ewo neke afili ni ake mo enini ni gbo ne infoni ko ni kanye amount ne no ncha akeshi me aboni papu eno ye neke radio station alo TV station ne online ni mo jakeshi ameba no ake mini ajile ke ni asusu ake egbe kenshi sempe mancheni ado to tinto infoni kanye ni le oblanya mancheni ni tete mo wa mo ike sempe mancheni ado to tinto lo jakeshi enfoni mi ni oblanu eson echenyi ni laka no nwe ye kukumli nwe ibomaden eke edinwede ni trakeshi engale non mo wa keshi be o manye sani trakeshi ekomefe mo ka gbene sani mo ni teke ba fe be mini anyen amo na fefo oba ko ye Ghana Traditional Council na ye ochinem ye wona wole akeshi ada feature lawyer ina abuamoko ti no ye jeme ne kada feature lawyer ina abuamo ne e abala keshi spokesperson na to ke Ghana Traditional Council le no wen you ke han kinta kite kochu money ji enyo no e han ana alia keshi Ghana Traditional Council ye bia ne ken do wasanji aboti no
ni Herocotic, a faith-based organization. Kagbene cheme koko me abo me na ye Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs say traditional council no pa ito banu walilem ekotamo sempe manche gamanche ko tublo manche no mi amebe mami shi ebiani ameba shepe be neke adafitalo na abo amo ehia nisan ake eyano yebiani spokesperson neke adafitalo na saniba ehan amena amelia ke shi cheme oboni wolile amekai amembi ni mambi anye boloko ni chepo ke traditional council dani adum atete poni nchanke o mo fe mo onye oje mla lo gbaje no to ekume ni anye no pepe mo ni atade agbene ayusu mai ni ablo agbene keje banyin lo tete po ashiyen keje banyin mo fe mo anye na kan gbaje no to enu shimono ni eje dodowa eji regional house of chiefs ni mekwente ni kwen achomo gakusumu hie o mo fe mo onye otra ohwe no ja keshi amesam ke fata ya keshi Herocotic ni asusu ake letimo na hie na ke faith based organization na hie ka agbene cheme koko ma anye ni ko amete na ma cha ke gakusumu hie le tete po di cheko ni ye biani adafitra lo na abo mo kotino e Ghana Traditional Council le ewoshia ke ibahani Rexec miji Regional Security Council ke asafo achemepo achaya bonafe na afine omoni obaton mlano alone ka asafo mbi ne ni amedistable ye biani aduma anyen awa ni akudomni ni omoni obagbotu onwe anya moboe amebia ke mimi chake ni sekpe ne ye biani chemene amete amafo amefio le reporti e kun ete ni chake sanjin kome ahie no be chemele amete na meba ni saka mnyame kame be awoni kesani name ni ameba yue eko ken no yu ne le chenkra chomanye ehwe gbi ekume eje ni afanga no jake odada no kusum fe mole akanya nyem lololo ni wo yu ne ma fa won afama hu ehwe wo che pe ni ji na ewulomo ni ji na ewe ni amehu ambafa amema fefe ye gan chipon ne no keke onu wo chola keshi banon drami ne ni jima na dun keke afale fefe o ka hwe odada o egbese ni anu ti so ni baba ne chimanye keji ma wie video ni no ja keshi on nation na shani ne obana keshi wo Ghana ma hinye lo na le danko kufuado ye biani inabo amokote no akemi ni Green Ghana no jakeshi abo modeni anye aduche abo ye wo Ghana mane bona fe koni koyo tete nwo mo ne wo lakeshi Ghana mane titirikeji ogonye ba pue neke gakwa ne no mambia efa ni tumamo ewo abo modeni outflow baba o ni agbene hu kejo ko gbajigbe short na hi hu adopoche poni anye na kesa gbajigbe na hi ni ehi anya fefo no wo be neke wo hu wo Ministry of Lands amebomodern ameke Forestry Commissioner chaya bona fe neke afine Green Ghana day ni fe money buy no amehana na la kesha bana ba duche ekume ake 30 million ni we need the seats ni agbadu nekeche ne no ja keshi eye man bi offices nitumo mo fe woni ibas won na eduche ne kwe ake egbe egbele obanye no obohi ibawo mi ja kese pe ne ato ni wo Ghana mane afefo Dubai yene ke Green Ghana deba ni famous shien no ni eyabalake ye biani recite neke wo hu wo national anthem name ni yabala ke shikejo ba ko no pa na fen akeshi adomoshin bona vena ko ni fe mo ayano di ba daga wala ke shi da ba ke patriotic citizen ele keje shebe ni akani wo hu wo national anthem ele no ja ke shi ko ba domoshin ni no ja ke shi ko vie mo pu e oba mu vie mo fen bona fe ni onye oke ojemo ke borente ochi e ha yemu aboni yo ni national anthem emi lo ni keji na na rudan ku fa de ko ni la den je moshi mo fe ne kan ni fe mo na shi no mo na ke manche ko manye ni wa yo ne manche ne le mo ko na ko monitor na ka manche krede shi bon bu information ana ni wonye wona manche ni ji ake manche ne etashi ye bia na recite national anthem noni ya balake shi na adudan kufado efi ake etrini abenkele fi ni triye ba jeme ko boni report greater Accra regional minister information ni ke kwe no mo me manje tade men kamola ke toshi net machine ena oni ya no ja ke shi na kanji boni wonna ye sinine ni di video ni ye social media no sha bona fi manje poteni wana keshi me manche ti moni etashi ebian a recite wo national anthem ne manye enele me pesusu akeshi noni jagbeji noni nana adujango ku fadu se e gba o susu akeshi ko nana adan ku fadu sa ke bo na twi ko bo na twi ba ni e fomo ni jinga ni ona ke mo emi efu joba dente mekwe o ijagbegbe ko susu ake ko sa ke deme no awu na kan manche fui ye na kan ni fe mo shishi wala ke ni fe mo te no ye kane no aso manche me ko ni je kan alo eje shon papa ni ba ni fe mo shi manye wo yo ne manche ji mo na ta wo bia ni si wo ba na ken ko ni wo ke ba wo tribule shoni nele ira don kitwebu
Iyo na kale irado. Nani ewo mi ngunoji yake. Beni mi neke video se pe no ba wi na ato manchene. Sanye niba. Ake wa president his excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. Ake mini record sanye table ye keke ami. Sanye kemi ye fi e very nguno. Ye keke ami ye ke na le minchicho shi ofe wa bananu kale nke Ghana ngo kokonsa kwe ingocho ne wo fa bananu kale ni yomi ake jeni Nana Akufo-Addo ake emiefu Henry Court honorable mi is one day ba tem as ake kwe e gata ma kwe table ye keke ami. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing when I saw the TikToks and the things get real money are real. She fair bana. It wasn't such thing. No more jake. Eya ni eya woman ni metlash. Eya kama ke ang na Ghana national anthem wa metishi. Kuni ama me participate. Ko Germany His Excellency mi fu ake ma ba le tishi da mo shine la national anthem ko metlash. That no jisani je ni ake ekokra na ake fita ya o ba ngma na akwale so ma yo ba ngma o she fe ko e wo fe wona no kale poteni no na ewo ni His Excellency mi efu ake Henry eya ni eya ke eya wu ameshi ake no ni ya no ametishi ni na she ona benimi sane ne ba ye here je ake na akwale ne fe ni kasemoni ake bebi ona ke woke watwifi onoko oya kedani woba gan here oba na ke kole wo fe mistake no na wo min wie na kaji moko ba na ke esani ku president order na kan instant ni na ke ya ne yake manje ma ka metishi after all no mi lala po ala ta mi male wo ku eje me kole moko kemba pangbe ye bi moko kemi pangbe shi mo fi amoke opinion ekole esa ake ekuen His Excellency Twinshi ni agbena ka agbena eke mo oya cheme ake ma bani ala nekelala ne mini ohani nyete ehie ekula ma me ya me reason woni amemfe na kan alo no ko krede ko woni amemfe na kan shi esani wole agbena second le hu be mi na no hu kwen ebani kwepo akpalala lenje banye ka stop lala ni mo fia mo ateshin koni asa chalala no. I mean, he's got the capacity to do that. No hu ye jeme she action anything no that 3 seconds do 4 seconds mo fia mo put a different meaning to that mo fia mo ke no ba no na ke fe TikTok bia na trend e millions of views ni ya no anti amelo fanem me ke na kwalegbe na ma gbele telephone line se koni wo fen wona eko wo wi dani wo oblano resource person aba shina enelen wi eko me no ndo mi wa agi ake sim card se na block anukwale keji tachelete onukpa ni no ho a block tachelete mpo
Speaker of Parliament.
Speaker of Parliament agi lelenche akeye lenkwen ko ba na ake no ni te no member ba o na jia me ye be na me register me enyo so ni a blocker na me ke a blocker me na me ni she ame fair registration ame register with their Ghana card she yet ame a blocker me wo efi ahunto Germany mi bia ke ni sister me ni a register sister me it wasn't put done in such a way ake ba nya recognize all the names and the data say ni a register na ni a block member about over 8 million akwale beje gbe small number kefio po hundreds po abanya ka ke machine error bona ni allo system error shene ona ke over 8 million ni amefe betra ke many a register sim card them ke what population no la ka ya 30 million ni member ba o je nche register ni a block 8 pe betra ke system e fail ojugba mo nyami yo afa system ojo na affect member ba o de nche shin bia na me shi wo ni minister ha ke first one many shikayo no ake ha me shi after that many me na me register ni amwa block ame ame na ba afia me
Manya no you on no ja ke shike otwa amaka wa ke show ya 48 hours ni oya no register no ba me registration no ogino ni ehia me.
Okay, she be menko me ho no hu ye if bubo ake ke o we have registration it's not that smooth moko cry ke 1 week na to register ke 1 week na fe ni sharp registration no o structure say na put le down mo fia mo complain nyami yo mo fia mo complain mo go ke registration na he ko me Accra le west she call town no na lawyer be sa no fa gbe ke amankonklo ni wale anukwale ni yomi ona eya ke menko me to ebo
fe ba da mo Ghana card o bana ke be nye sure ke Ghana card na e complain me na ke pia na le Ghana card e fi mo le fi an to wa de nchemanyi ni Ghana card e no ojino ni jonye no dano banye ni o ke register o sim card o ke link o sim card ni
obe Ghana card en bia ne aputiko anakwa aka put hold she kejo to register Ghana card no we chota nesa no no obafia ho ni share no obafia ho bete yona ni efeji na eneme sanjin ko wie sanjin afila ke o wie chon shike okwe ona mansela ka ha ample time ele na ka keje last year ke I may be wrong ni aha ke ibashe beku she time ni a bomb popular fame ake is an name of ma register Ghana card and ke register sim me month na ha echakuchon born minji echakuchon a boy active dey nche na yo se echakuchon o we femi ake be na ha ko o kwemi dey nche ke man be efa eya ke eba sheke the last month na efe dey last about 2-3 months na efe men ninke o I register Ghana card I'm afraid they were finding it so difficult na na Ghana card o men komeneke but there is no way huni mini amanya ama femini ama register me sim card there o na system men ene me na call wie be fet mo condemn ma she ni bi baba o ye ni it's not right ni bi baba o ya no ni ma wona be na ya le ha ona different various departments ni especially with this information era name no na kesa ni jame money ko efe smooth jame mo efe difficult oh wona be ni ya le ha nyami yo bo ma mo heke ni woke no na hwe ha to ebule ni menfi abami dani agbene wo invite wo resource person ona kwale mini ji na agbe kra ni okwa agme wo ye bie
amanye na gbe krale ekrona wa so abia ku ebe ma na do afa ntakeshi asho dada ke ni ina gbewie mo maha meni bo tuition ni ne kule o ye Ghana mane no la keshi udada we o to ko do ba ko ni oba witness udada oni fe mo ke ni
ofa ne keje oba no go yin acho Afro Towers Hot FM dada oba shikubaya no ifata
nya chami na kwale meda liake wo bebe mo shini oche odada we kusuni onani ni liake membaba o liake adugba ke oba ha wa adugba bibio no ha wo dada bibio eke o chose wo fio oba na echange wa na o manye koni wo kla gba ne kani bi na isanje shibo ha wo bibio kwa ke ma adumo de enche mini eke dani odada o mini just 5 minutes dan man mo no yo fa ne wa
yo manye ne lemde chen ya da feature demo ke no nimbu na keje cheme kwani ke cha da feature no tumo mie wo ka mena sane ba ke ko ne ke o ma dumo ko da da ni fe mo ne no ja ke ba woli ake skeji abayi o mo wo ma dumo kusum ni fe mo fe fata no ja ke si gbeje no ke wa hu ni no ja ke si kusum na afio dani ajio o mo wo ni ma dumo ne no ja ke si ni ake ma wo shipon ni ma na ke wo shipon ne won fe hu ja ke wo che me ni ji wo lumo ine ameji me ni ametun ne ke kusum ni ji ma dumo bi e ja ke shi iye na kai husu ni aduma ye je me fe amo egbe ni aka lala alo ayimi alo afe yara ni wo yo ne ma ne ke yara fe mo sajime no e fi ake iye je no nipa fota se mo se wona wole ake se aka ma nfro gben me mepete ni ama fun gbonyo ye bia na duma ni wo yo ne ke aduma won afun gbonyo be fata yi no fata fe yara fe mo be mi ni menete ni afun ne ke gbonyo ne no ke isanti baba o si wo ke no ba pasase no ke anya je ne ke mlana to ne fe no ni fe mo le nyonkome ni wole ake shi me abo ni duon ma ekoji wo denche wo sakumo we na ede wa we no ja ke shi gbese kokole ne ke me ne fe jimeni ameduon ma ne ke adun dana ba adu denche abashi shi ba ja ke be asashpon a prepare grounds ke hangma dumo no keji abashina duma ne ke ejiki hanyo come 1 month ni femo ke afan hu fio to bona dun le fio many ji oshiji wodenche volante jan we ni ji dantu no ka ameno amejin shike dumo ke fan bi e channel na ka no da ameno amejin shike fan ke fan bi e channel ka shi bia ni na e ba fe no if you are not due for ni ba ne na e ba fan man ke ifan eno so keji na ifan man lololu agbele ko pe eyan ko ni ekalala alofe dede alofe ho ka si bia ni odada oni fe mo ba yana odada oni fe mo ji kusum ni ya confidence ekoda no ja ko si gbese man cheji mo ne tro na kan kusum ne odada oni oji mini ayo abayi mi nkeja jimi e se ten no ja ke be agbele pe ehan me ni amenyen amefe ina ke yara ka agbene ho fe mo ke entra ke si noni agu be bia na agu ho fe mo no ke ajira da o cha ke be abanye ni alo ba anye ni o fe ho ba no chano na ka no mo boni wo fe le dani nyonkome abadu ma ni fe mo ya no ye gbese manche e policy e hin tuntun no ja ke no be so ni baba ni abayo dada we na ka dada o mi enwe awo na wole akeshi be da fi akeji opun ni ke ajine ken tie ten twa ke si agbele ho fi mo na ka ke nyochu mi ne ken ja afi ekon no be manye afi no na yi na ke bochu mi afi na ekon agbaba ni ka yi twa ke ba agbele ho fi mo na no ka ho chu mi ne ken ja afi ekon na let's summarize ke ona fe nyi na nyele no ni ji ma adumo ki agbene odada o ifi mo
yo nyen yo yuradon de nche ofe wo nye wa ngo e no ya wo ba wi etwense onu
manyofa ne
yo chairman kenyeme wanyame yo na akwale court Mrs. Nati no onu eke adafitwa eje gamma ni ami ni di Jamestown ododio dio die nche ye Hot FM ikama hawo ye bie no wo fen wonu no na ewie fen magbele telephone line shlaw koni wo kwe eminsaje akume agbene wo ba invite wo resource person na neke wa ba wie ne ken shipon himo eminsaje ko wa ba wie he wo echencho ibaba shimingbele telephone line se ke ha man bi e ka agbene le ho eba ke ba obanyo bi le question ke wo gbasane eta ni bi ni bon e country na course money obi e ne ke shipon himo eminsaje ni akeya ke ba fe gbeka ni oba agbele love fa wo mi na ke imumo mbashi mi npanye fa nya ha imumo aya nwa efie ha mi o mi npanye fa hia mi enke mba love npa fa npa love fa ya ke small love wo mi npanye fa nya mi like ke love kuni wala ishi fi o nya yura don wo ba je jo ba cha no ye bie many eba plama no ke ngamo short ke ningma ma kanefio kome ke what wo here ma je ke niama tete ni okay o small nkuli high no small na ama pala fa fio ni edomoko ona ko pala fa ne ke e ko wo chichi na oyira don enche o ma na kwa no Mr. Adi mi no ke wo yo ogbene
yeah manyeti kuli high o kwa kuli high da
o nkweda ku ebe movie ko ni nkweda
ngo akwe
eche Mr. Abi na ke kuli high movie na ele ngbeke bi asito ni nkwe
wo kwe
opera square
ngene ko yin opera kwebo ni opera fe e mobo papa
to ba fi lete
she was government ona was government na meke amenye Ghana no manyeti ole there's a difference between government and governance
anokale
ona government institutions kagbene structures
yes
ke agbene gbeme ni form of government amamechi government
okay
institutions infrastructure and the people she governance jine kendi bi ne yo fen no na ka ba tu alo no na me ba tu because government pele enye tejine ya wa lo le egbe no yi government ni government le hie ne ba wa amameji ne ke structures ne si many your me amame ba fe governance
na kan
jameji any what failure go batagmene
okay
no ne oni nto no ni na kwa league fi aga last but one ni akufo ado hie lebo na efe ni le mo emi kem yifu emi efu ne order mekeke manyati ka okwero ni nu efe ona ke frustration and a fool oh Ghana will work again I'm coming to do away with God's beggar economy yomo loko and I go back ekpoju e wole enya fe noko no bo ne bole no ji minfu nefu si manyeti mi eni minfu ye kuraji edumo si kanta to mo opo ona go opo fun na kai do kinu de ta oni fi no na edumo si de fa de la mi do e cabinet ne ga yo o for ata me ga ni bi na me bola blu mi do ya na efe na ka ku ne ga twa me na mi fu e wa me
boyo emi enle
mi do ya fe na kan na efe ti ju
enche boyo mi enle o fa ne
ka me ne bola blu na efe na ga twa me cabinet lo ka tu ni ama me poto ma si blo fo me yu onu ko agashi ka leader jibu ka leader jibu obanye o delegate authority wale no yin obanye o kan me kume alo obanye o jambuku nu ele obanye o ja ni me ka tuni adake bo wo amele bo ha me wale si responsibility ultimate responsibility bubatele.
Anokale.
You can delegate authority, but you cannot delegate responsibility.
No la anokale.
God power ham and America do. America told you. But no two me.
Bo utojo eko. Inche yo. One minute.
Blow nefe mene de ka telemuku. Eyin suesi pe. Throw to me wonamo. Kwe, come the regional minister, kwe no if you go resign. The German no makala can resign.
Bebe no one je but regional minister.
Mama can resign.
Mr. Abe, oh, Sani affair ji akemini.
Sani affair, me am ya full name. Man, they coming on financial damage by force I can do machine.
Hey, bell on man.
By force. Get by force I can do machine. Ni Rollins papa, I mean a gajation. Again, you cannot be patriotic on empty stomach.
Hey.
Rollins. Let me after I go on a Shigana.
Yo, why answer me? Mr. Abe, why answer me?
Cemeteries. What's the difference for cemetery?
Why am P? Mokwe line no resource person and way back. Oh no. Oyuradon. Okay. Osofonate minkwe. Ofane mimba aninke bo atron system me mo ofane wa ke otwa eko kwefono no otwa eko e baba system me ofane. One our resource person e ba shi ama pick osofonate koni agbene woke ni femo acha no ye bia. Nche minkwe ama kwe ke maglabo ke je bia mo wan. Sania hunto shi fe ko hi. Ko ni baba hi. Nke ke mo na no ko shishije neken wo put on meanings to many me yes many me ta hi fe mo ke no. Nche ofa na me ba o de manye.
Oh, manye afi manjilike ha ka Gadangme man eko.
Oyuradon.
Yo Toyote.
Dromo kemiye. Fa bo hi egbe wo bubutue.
Yo agula papa chi.
Oyuradon.
Ine mi no anybody dey namne. Fio me ake sa ke Gadangme tin si fio e ka gbe tomoboni eyu in the bed no. Software teachers, doctors, professors, mancheme. It can be nyeme. Himbe mufia mombutui. Ke o vivi mo inu dupai tetri bon habwe ayabona agole. Ajo nupa na kan, ajo nupa hina kan. Duba ke fe tintin kan hani BFN. Ibe fine. Jene na yo ne keji ulenu pole bonu igole ni keji ulie ule bonu igole wo shule sake kudo egbe mo mi fi o ga wosa si di woke gidi ke takashi ifi si woke egbe mo ke ku fi mo ke kudo ba fi di ba ma ili afi wo no inyami yo ma ye leke national anthem na atra ni manche me kumesa ka metishin amedishin lekeni ne bia na ba chonsu te ha taflache ye manche me kumahi ni ejina agba kra dan enko akeke bu manche jibu no ba ya ku no liake aba atra national anthem pe enu e kaya
ofana je menu ishi ekaya akemini ke ala je sani alo mino ekaya
ameke me kwa me sumo shitiye
wo okay benu je nshi ke ibaya na ba atwa national anthem ni enye tishiele be sa ne ya kra
na kai
okay nu bo nshi
na kai nutu mo ku be na atu manche pipi na me ya to mo nyese no na afi ye kolebune na akpile psychiatry na akpile neke ni sempesa ne ya se tu ni oda wulu ti efia ye be manche wulu ya keke
na kai
Una. Lutanka ka president wa baya. Ni ebala ke he kumena jiwa. Ameti isi. Ni after that aka me ayo ni kume amechi atwanka ka me. Iwo taflache. Wo president ni yo je. Ata be fe can you feel it? The no ni ekula ata be yo be jake kule mami je can you. She president e yenyemi me. Ni kameni ichebi ni kameni ni wofe
ni nakai deba na afi gashpono
the president afuela ngoeka da foleye na afuela ngoeka wala nka mo ye mi to woni ke wati ba no wofi opese mo to kole e kadi pese makumefe ti school akra ro ya meti iwo ni enobosi ye kan ko emi president kanoni Osmo wogi iwo mumu ni kole no ko inyemi no record yake manche yake na kani na mefio ka national anthem na metehie ekebu ha ma
jeme no shishie inu fe shishie ojogba shimbi ake at that moment na lala ya no because we could all hear ke lala ya no ni na ka instruction na ba kwen
national stanushi national anthem by it fetch say it nuju etafima fe nuju kupon fe wo ka jinsi anya ba
ni na jame inche fio ni le nke bo pagbe si fio ni mo le ni ahawonu Ghana national anthem shishi tafla che ebeni mi ni wo ya school na atron wo ni wo first and wo fe patriotic ha ma akeka la no nufu nkan bo po ka si o akeka la no item komobo omkwe ke kwakwepo mkpo o na neshishipu ake okachi ohe gbelala na dano ya to kwakwe ese o jame ni mi bie na mi personal question ni mi bi ke president it's not be o jeni I'm against the president allo I'm against the national anthem I'm not against mogmoko ninka mogmoko pangbe ye ne no mlenche mi bi ake ni ala as president na kind time ni na ake menkometation me abale hu enme ni agbelala na dani ekena kan chuma ya koni ayasha manche me ayasha me hi ojugba shimo lala ni lala ya no ne ha instruction say
dabi video bonu na le agbelala na
okay yo ufani
yo na ke kokwe hiko oshina ke national anthem kala usinape ni keji eba oba jufu yena ekule hilo damo ni alano ni sako wa lo le kumba seke hilo kumba wa nyo jufu alo ekule mu prefenti keno meni tafacha mepo wala chamo ke hila chamo ameno ametuofu na ya womo ola kuncho he ke afini life threatening kumba le anyo ashi jeni life no kuruku na kaimpe iwo wo fi tesake wo buohi eja ke ne kenu kune kena na do ifi le hu abaka ke sibe mi na afi o manche metashi ni ifi lu kuye una bolincho na wa yu ashle iwo no le fi egbe mi fu na mo fi amo mi fu oda mi je sisi e si bi enle sis ake research and then journalist inte
nya waka o ma here no ake mi mfumo ke fe engmeji
Dabi this is passion for righteousness
yo
no ko market ati kolebuna ya fi ni manchebe komete esi na yehe
okay
na papi ele won manchebe komete esi ona bonje wo mini ya no
Enche oyira do BFA kra
je wo ko da gbede won sister ama yenu ko yo ya
okay
ama yu ko yo ya wo nyemi no en reporti wo keleye ipa fai ya moni ya fa la lejo ape ani wo teme ko wo tashi wo biake na ti tutuwa sanjina ya yue ne ke atuma ne sanji pelu itake ha wole yake ashwe media
kejiko no kwale
iwo mini ya feta flache sani min kulomo ida ne minta sumo sani minta mana sani wo ntemi In Gadangme can from Manchester who ye. In fact, she went to Bona. Ke Boni Manchester came here. Ona me fu ya do mahi. Ke ye money and record to you. Square sake bidene. Wako Henry Quarty ita apakai min woteli lekenye.
Nakae.
Cause mama babodu nitino.
She bear from Nella Masmo one no bamimo. She bear resource person eba. Koni
1 minute. I can't pay me now by she shege who ya no. Because of Yake. You know, Manchema she come away piene. Congo na me a sumo yobi. If I near somewhere university see my name. The Kwani so in a regional council of the woman conference center. In Manchebe Bana Hina Bawo. If you either buy a metro, you can move no Catoni Parliament. Yo, na cause of work. The KDB na mental fish. I made the Manchebe on a Manchebe a few. She can't let a bad machine. Abafi, no, we know, and report it to MCE. The order, I came up with a home cement, I came up with a cable, iron rods, upward supply, so much Kabama, regional house of chiefs. I've been a Kakasi school, university, say Pentecost University, Central Gospel Church University. I'm known many, I'm a few, carrying to school self every year, Abaha, software every year, Abaha, 100. Scholarship there by university say it was you my papa
Koni one evidence one way why you that say
I didn't get hit I can't be money to go and somewhere could be Ashandi, it could be a kipus among my bill. I can one make one order. It was Demo could not be small out.
She me osofo inu she na carry money money out ni no ni hewo ni amesmone yake man conclume ye bene ga dodo original house of chiefs traditional house is an ayo o ke man conclude ba nu ni lehu ame traditional house bi amba to egbo na ma me fe no kuna kan beje problem ni ke missionary se beje ga je Accra pe ameyo over on me. Inu shishi. Inu shefi akenele woba wehe. Mr. Nati. Woba glami. Woba fishing. No investigate. Ojoba. Koni wana famo henu wake we.
Kewa investigate. Mien beno na maso look wana ke ngowa.
Ofane you. Oyuradon. Yo. Oh, Auntie Amele, Ofane, Kefono no so treko, Dani Otibo Bano, Mintoni, Nkenama Kome Fitai, she made Trankanama Kome Fitai screen, she made phone no track or canoe, Manma no pepe. Amele, Ofane, Annie. Wokebwa, she mokoda online and hello, caller, Ofane, Nimbo track, I don't know.
Hello, my next to you.
Auntie Amelo fan and more twin she down. Money on Namagbe on a 7423. Offer me on my phone, eh? Offer you may I can kabweda moshi eche. Oh, Yano. Papa.
Program no fee on it.
Abami.
Be I can shoot knowledge and have wisdom. They are boy.
Nakai.
No feel no fee on no feel and no
Ebami, Hami. You.
Mokuli Island. Contribution few in the woman. If contribution. Noni last caller baby and no. I can see I feel and your plans now. Original nibi kenete. Come on, table no. Nibi gamanche a demand from the government because she can't comment. Get what got nibi ni in my way. Nibi American Taki Deco Kilu a demand in a Canadian can have what you are being ni akewo feel la bitalo.
I was slashing. Oyala merry go round.
She can't percentage in terms of income revenue not generate to Accra. So like Kamanche, le ene no. The war, 30 no, 10% na hale. need this state organization to come and do anything. That money alone, if I hear you get developed, because we need to get
and quality.
Like a sky there, any air cap. If you need many I'm a signed contract. Please hold me. I'm a contract AS5. Me the car test Mr. I can have up to now. I can have up to now.
Okay.
Like I start there say I mean I can't pass that down. Now one thing let me tell my feel and work like my comment now what to you will feel the work can be no fear. And then what play not tell you what about that. No, it's something that connect us to the divine. And then you feel no one will feel
not kind.
Is the feast of the Passover. Where can live in belly. When you live in that's the feast of the Passover. When you 3 feasts, when you 3 feasts, a festival was celebrated, 3 of them. First one, the feast of the Passover. When you Mayeli, feast of Pentecost or Sekut. No, need a doom. And then the Bible, that one year, feast of the tabernacle, leading Mato. When they came at the living, and then they will feel. We will strengthen our connection with the divine.
And quality.
You are getting the lack of education. I feel like you will feel a too much. I can have them. What you must educate me.
Okay.
What you know, feel. Here, what that one. And then we will feel. It is strengthen our connection with the divine. I mean, one more can want government pledge and government never successful government never fail. They don't want a strong government because there is a strong government it will contend with them in terms of power. But all the time, political organizations they go beyond the scene. They manipulate. This time, it's not going to work. Because the government to go up. Never can I get you. Manager or Martin, what I will go.
Yo, ente, Oyuradon, she any mano bami, kewogbe, wo ni ne, resource person, mano sa obami ekon, Oyuradon, dienche. I need 2 minutes and can tia mele koni agbene, what chemo neighbor, Oyuradon. Ante melo fan, what am I she, our bubu to agbene.
Yo, Maniati. Ofana wang be Amelie.
Ofane you Amelie. Oh, be me male wrong. Ofane you.
Don't worry about that. You see, Nini my way money by way. First one ke second one ke second one pa gbe kayo ake benin wodako ke ji aye omowo or before omowo somoko etwajo
na kai
so obiye what like Anglican Methodist be can be efe ameka wo sharp na mejio nini work gameke no pepe obana ke gaman ten fe fio question can be like mufia din ni akajo neke na hilene ni even po aha beke bi atwade alo ame himfu na me fe noise ye reame si bianto na kan atwade de so modin neni in the ye na meje Shimako or whatever number he gafe me I may feel like I'm a meji game luamba detect aha game nini game afe ye gas no it's I mean dwemo bemi ni ke game come e ya fin amese then me ya fian na meje ni akwa ye na afun amelango ye na me bin gamashi kusunwe ani trofa wotolo te trofa wotolo ba menim ke nana kanswai Jimmy to profan kenkren. Then we come shebe yen wo yo. O gampen inu shishi. Money by you second one you akakashi akaba ha wo neke aba fe neke aba ma neke afe neke. No wo esani wo ho wo kusum. Go ha neke mini actually material things. Ni wo hin ahwe galo. Esani mo ebi e makai. Oh, again, second one, we are Kashikane Sak, a can gamanchang, when Benene, Wabamukuni,
Anokale.
No, me bagama fight. I mean, actually, I'm a farmer here. Jake and young when she can bash it. Kona mena kekashi, she walk. New is a new waters. What hello, ma. Jeg one word a jar, a ma bim you do by me ya unupano. Ni I jale wo kusumi ahame.
Okay.
Namba ke waja won. If anything, ne one jar, you were puffy na can some be.
No genie. Sister Amelie,
one time you na can some be. No one manati, all right, don't care how or show and when I love face sweet.
Wow, thank you. Hey, carry baby. Again, to be fair on me, my head is sweet me. Sister, you're a Tafela job. You're I appreciate your contribution. And what by you say you couldn't walk away man, you could mail who visited me.
Anytime no favorite there. Anytime no bad favorite there. Just call me. What by link. Yeah, you're right on.
Should I feel no one?
Right on.
Thank you. Bye. Yo, Chairman Kenya me fiake be a work or resource person but she ofane ama we ne resource person enu gawie mojuba no oba ya le brofo fio no na ewoni ibabale na kanje ake land acquisition ye Ghana taflache je gamempe ni into ganyoa ho akekon ka waba blami ye gami shi woni ne share kuno no woni monen wona le ewiake ga ebo himodin wo work by a bluff fie ke work blami fio thank you very much, Mr. Kwame Kankam. You are welcome to the program. I know before we've rescheduled this particular program, and the day that you came in, we were able to introduce you a little bit to the people. Yeah. But now that maybe we've gotten some few new members or listeners or viewers joining us for the first time. So if you can introduce yourself, and then we begin asking the few questions that we have. Go on.
Okay, Maneti, thank you for having me. I don't speak Gamba. Maybe I'll try and mix it with the tree a bit at some point. Okay. So my name is Kwame Kankam. I'm based in Ghana. I'm a real estate consultant, a chartered surveyor. I run my own real estate advisory firm. We help people to acquire properties in Ghana, help people with due diligence, people who are looking at selling their houses, people who are looking for property management, people who even want to build. We help them in all those aspects in the real estate. So
okay. Then probably I got my introduction a little bit swave. Let me say swave a bit. But it's all good. It's all good. Now that we know who you are, you support people in all these areas of acquiring land, building, maintenance and stuff like that. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So Kwame, when we talk of, let's start from getting the land aspect. So since you've gotten this organization that you are in that capability to support people, if I want to acquire land, what would be your position to help me or to support me?
Okay, so Maneti, let me take you back a bit. Let's refresh ourselves. Let's understand one or two issues or the regime around land ownership in Ghana.
Okay.
So first off, what if you want to buy a land, which lands are even available for you? Which options are available for you? So primarily we have three main options. It's either you are buying a state land. A state land, when we say a state land, it means a land that have been acquired by the state. So the government, they have their own estate. We talk about airport, East Legon, Cantonment. That's one of the residential areas that the government owns. Or you are buying a customary land. When I say customary lands are lands which are owned by the stools. So let's say Osu stool, Osu Mate, they own lands. Let's say La people also owns land. Lungwa, they also own land. So that's another category of land that you can have.
Okay.
And also we talk about vested lands. So vested land has some characteristics of the state land, but it's not state land. They are lands that has been vested in the state. So the beneficiary owners rest with a group of people, whilst the management of those land also rests with the state. We have Osumanche, some side of Osumanche are vested lands. There are a couple of vested lands. Koforidua, some areas, I think most areas in Koforidua are also vested lands. So if you come to me that you want to buy a land, right? These are the categories of land that may happen to be an option for you. It's either you are buying from the state, you are buying from the stool, or it's a vested land. And within these three categories, there may be a primary transaction or a secondary transaction.
Okay.
When I say a primary transactions, I mean you are buying directly from source. So if it's a state land, Manyeti, we are having your lease straight from Government of Ghana or the Lands Commission. If it's a secondary transaction, it means maybe Manyeti, you bought it and you are selling to me. So that's the category of lands that you can have. Those are the options available.
Okay, so primary and then secondary. And then talking of government lands, because I've had people coming on the show, claiming or making claims that government itself hasn't got any land in Ghana, but then they acquire these lands from the stools. Sometimes they take these lands in aid of coming out with a project for that particular, either the community or that vicinity, let me put it that way. And then one way or the other, maybe these projects that the lands being acquired for may or may not come on. And then it's time for the government to either take back the lands to the custodians of the land. But then we don't see this transaction going back. We don't see it. All we hear is these are government lands. These are government land. Then people go and buy. So let me ask, if government doesn't own lands, and based on what I've just said, why would somebody go and buy a land from the government?
Okay, so I get your question very well. So there are instances where there is something called compulsory acquisition, right? Compulsory acquisition is the law that allows the government to use its power to acquire lands for various reasons, right? It can be for public good, it can be for public safety, it can be for health reasons, it can be for so many reasons. So let's say, Maniti, you own a parcel of land in somewhere, right? And the government of Ghana one day decide that, oh, this land, it will be very good for hospital. We need this particular land for hospital. They can pass an executive instrument, go through all the legal processes, and then acquire your land. But then the law is that they need to compensate you, and the compensation should be adequate and prompt, right? There are instances where some lands are acquired for various reasons, for school, for farms, whatever, but the intended purpose never gets to kick off, right? But the law of the compensation, a compulsory acquisition states that whenever you acquire land for a certain purpose and for any reason, you don't use it for that intended purpose, you are supposed to what? Revert it back to the owners.
Exactly.
That's the law. Most of the acquisitions happen years back in Nkrumah's time, dated way back, right? And sometimes I think we are being misled. Some of the stools, they are being compensated, but they hide behind the noviceness of the public and say, oh, we've not been compensated, so we've taken over our land. Some people even go to the extent of lying to the public that oh, the government has released the land back to us. But when the government was acquiring the land, he used some legal work, some paperwork. So whenever he is also reversing the legal status, he also needs to do it by a white paper. So it happens most often. Some lands act, but I think there's a new reform. They've passed the new Lands Act. That's the Act 1036. And for any reason, if the government wants to acquire land, they need to prove the availability of the compensation. So I think going forward, we will hear less of those instances where people's lands were taken, they didn't get compensation, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But I accept that there are instances where lands have been taken from people and they never got compensation. Some are still in court with the government and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But when you do your due diligence, and the land that you are acquiring is a government,
we'll get to that part. We'll get to that part. Trebole keji pako o ba program no wana wanyaminu nkumeneka wanwie shipon ye gamang shipon namo himo benonesa no chonke na kanibie ni ame organization na me helpo ni ibanye kejo na shipon pono to machupo amanya ame wabo alo kekpako ya shipon pu gbejano to no ba chon amanya ame wabo ni onye ona ni ona ke shipon no here bodenche o shipon no no won gba saneshim program now it's not going to be just for today. We are going to have him maybe about 3 or 4 times on the show. Koni wanna into details. If I've got my money now and I call Mr. Kwame can come, Mr. Kwame, I've got this money. I really need someone to support me get land, and then a proper land documentation land. I will not have any problem in the due diligence that I have to go through. Mini, that is where we'll get to. Oh, right now, keji oba nina wo. Ke your questions no to be when you can type the question on either the Facebook or the YouTube line. If you are watching on the television, please you can use this. You can send the message through the WhatsApp line, and I'll ask your question for you. So that is it. So let me come back to you. I know some people may have joined us through the the StreamYard, but I'm not going to pick your videos now until we finish a bit with our got to a point with our conversation before I will do that. Mr. Kwame, let me come back to you now. Now that you've given us the types of lands that is possible we can get in Ghana, let me go to now we know the types. Let me go to the nature of it. I don't know if you've already even answered the nature of it. So what would be my nature of interest to acquire a land? What to be? I know there are various ones, but with your expertise, can you give me some of the nature of interest that I may have to acquire land, and that interest may be granted, and then I can go on with my project?
Okay. So thank you for that question. So if you are buying a land in Ghana, right? Ideally, there are types of interest. We say the interests are a bundle of rights that you enjoy. So your right to enjoy the land peacefully, your right to will the property to your successors, the right to lease the land, the right to rent it, whatever you want to do with the land is the interest that you have it, right? So basically, you can have a freehold interest, right? You can have a leasehold interest. I'll explain them one by one. You can have a sublease interest. And you can have a license, you can have a tenancy. When we talk about the freehold interest, the freehold interest is an interest granted to you by the allodia owners. Let's say Bawe family may grant you a freehold interest, right? The freehold interest allows you to have ownership to the land until perpetuity. There are no terminations, or it's not a terminable interest. Let me put it that way. So you can have the land to perpetuity. But then recently, we passed a new law, that's the Act 1036. Okay. So no family in Ghana can grant a freehold interest. So you cannot have a freehold interest in Ghana any longer. But then, if it's a secondary transaction, let's say Manyeti, you bought a freehold land in, let's say, somewhere Ebri, and you are transferring your interest to me, you can transfer the freehold to me. But to grant a fresh freehold, it won't be possible. When you try to register the document, the Lands Commission will query the document, and they will notify you on that error for your solicitor to rectify it. The second category, the second nature of interest that you can have will be the leasehold, right? The leasehold is a terminable interest.
So hold on. So are you saying with the freehold, it's not possible as of the new laws that came on?
Yes, you cannot have a freehold land in Ghana. What you can have will be an already existing freehold that someone is transferring to you. So if someone has someone bought a land in somewhere, brief freehold interest, and he or she wants to sell to you, fair enough. But for a family to grant you a new freehold application won't suffice. It won't work.
Yeah, before you continue, talking of freehold, I know freehold, leasehold, and the others, but for someone, naive like me, when you talk of freehold, what does that mean? Freehold, when the word free comes in, there's a little bit of questionable thing there. So what is that freehold thing? And I buy a land and I can say this is a freehold land, so it's for me or it's for me forever, that kind of thing. What does that mean?
Okay, so when we say freehold means you have the land unrestricted with any terminable interest. So you have the land to perpetuity till thy kingdom come.
Right.
But then there are some conditions. There may be a freehold which will say that you are still required to pay ground rent. Every year you are supposed to pay something to the allodial owners of that land. But then you are having the land to perpetuity. You have the land to yourself till thy kingdom come.
And nobody will take that land from you.
And no one will take that land from you.
Okay, so that's the freehold.
That's the freehold, right?
And you are saying, as of now, the government is not allowing this freehold unless those who had this freehold way back, they can transfer this to someone else.
Exactly.
Okay. So if I want to know that the land that I'm buying from this person is a freehold, what are the things that I need to look out for me to know it is a freehold before we move to the leasehold one?
Okay. So we are talking about features of a freehold. So usually when you pick your land document, we usually refer to it as indenture.
Indenture, okay.
Indenture. When you pick your land document, usually the caption is deed of conveyance. That's how the lawyers usually capture it, deed of conveyance. And when you read the recitals, you can know the history behind the land and the interest that is being transferred to you. And in that you know that is a freehold. It will be stated very clearly that is a freehold transaction that you are having.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now let's move to the leasehold.
Okay. So leasehold drops down to a bit lesser than the freehold, right?
Okay.
So leasehold is a terminable interest that can be given to you by, let's say, S2 can sell a leasehold to you. An individual can also assign his unexpired term of leasehold to you. So let's say you are buying a land from Bawis 2. And let me take you back. So per the constitution, stool lands are not also allowed to grant freehold transactions.
Okay.
So if you are buying any land from a stool, it's going to be either a sublease or a lease. They will never give you a freehold per the laws, even prior before the passing of the New Lands Act. Freehold has never been a thing for the stool land. So it's always a leasehold.
Mr. Kankam, as for this one, I've got a very big question mark because that's not what we are witnessing now, especially in Accra land. That is not what we are witnessing. But then you don't let me cut this conversation. Please go on.
Okay. So the leaseholds are terminable interest. So when you are buying a land from let's say Osumanche, Bawis to La Ashoman, they can give you a leasehold. So the leasehold is a terminable interest. So when I say terminable interest, it means one day it will come to an end. And when it comes to an end, you can renew your lease, right? And currently, per the New Lands Act 2, we say that there is an automatic renewal. You cannot refuse when your lease comes to an end. The person who granted you the lease cannot say that he won't renew it for you on any trivial grounds. I mean, he's supposed to renew it for you. So that's one of the features of the New Lands Act. Also, so when your lease comes to an end, there you have a right of renewal by default. So the leaseholds are also terminable interest. One day to come to an end. So when you pick the indenture, that to answer your question for the freehold too. So when you pick the indenture, you also see clearly that it's written deed of lease, dated, and also you've seen all the parties involved, the allodial owner, there's two signing, there may be the elders of the family witnessing the document. You see the nature of interest. You see the term of the lease. So if it's 99, you see that they've given you a 99-year lease, and they will tell you when it's commencing from. So one day to come to an end, hopefully you wouldn't be alive, but then your heirs and successors also continue to enjoy it.
This is actually, this is what we are witnessing. I know some families who may have given these lands on a lease for probably 100 years. I know at least 100 years, I know of that one. And these parents that or these two that actually gave this land on as a leasehold, they've gone and I mean yes, and now there are different people occupying the land. The purpose for which the land was acquired has been diverted, and the family also may not have known the documents that pertain to this land. So you see that now these people occupying, maybe the generation that have come now, they will be the real owners rather of these lands. If, for instance, you happen to be maybe one of the custodians who parents gave out this land on a leasehold, you come across this touched document somewhere, and then you realize, no, this particular area of land actually belongs to this family. And looking at the years that has gone, can you take them on? Because maybe these documents may have said the land was acquired based for the purpose of something and this project, but then we are seeing that as of now this project wasn't what is on the land. So can this person go on to fight? And even if you want to, where do you start from? How do you go about it? What can you do?
Okay, so there are remedies available. They can initiate a legal action, but also mind you that for land transaction we have something called limitation decree, right? So if someone has been on the land for so many years, you didn't approach the person to caution him that this is my land, you've encroached or something, you've done what you are not supposed to do on the land, and you take him to court after 11 years, the likelihood that you will lose is a bit high.
And this law came about when?
The limitation decree has been in existence since 90s, if I'm not wrong. It's been around for a long time. It's been around for a long time. But then the issue is, usually for land issues, mostly people that we've dealt with, they are always aware. Someone in the family will have the history behind the land. Usually there's someone always in the family who knows much about the land. If the land was compulsory acquired, he can tell you that, oh, we were paid compensation, but we think it wasn't enough, so we want to push for more. So, I mean, there are legal remedies available for them.
I see.
What happened recently is it's that mostly for schools or families who have never had any compensation, they take the laws into their own hands, and they also start selling the lands to people. So what happens is that many people have physical possession of the lands, but they don't have any paperwork or any title to it. So recently, there's a case that we dealt with around the Pantan area where the person bought the land. He has built his house. He's living in it. He wanted to sell it. I told him we need to do some searches at the lands registry. And then when we did it, we realized the land was acquired for PNT. That's Postal and Telecom.
Yes.
Ghana Telecom. So that was why the land was acquired for. And the place has fully developed. The place has fully developed now. So maybe what will happen is that government will go ahead to regularize the leases for them. Government will take some money and then regularize their stay for them. Charge them some penalties as well.
Mr. Yankam, we've got thousands of questions to ask, but I know we are not going to do this today. When it comes to due diligence, honestly, one must know, getting a land, we all know the stories that always come out when you are getting a land. We know what has been going on, even to a situation people die trying to get back to their lands. And this thing has been going on and on and on and on. Now let's talk about this due diligence process. What must I do?
Okay, what must you do? So you have dreams of buying land, you have dreams of doing a property in Ghana. Usually I tell my clients, land is not like tomatoes where you just go and buy it on the market, and if it's not good, you can pick and choose. Oh, this one is good, I'll throw it away. It's a lifetime investment, and when you are buying it, you need to take the necessary steps you need to talk to the right professionals to make sure that you are doing the right thing. You don't just go and buy the trouble. When you come to us, maybe it will cost you more to rectify it than when you involve.
So in that case, can I take you back a little bit? In that case, if I want to buy a land now, what do you think would be the right thing for me to do before we get to the diligence process?
Okay, sure. So you want to buy a land in Ghana. You want to do something back home. Good.
Yeah.
So first off, we identify where you are. Which land have you identified? Let's say you've seen that someone has advertised some land on the internet, right?
Yes.
Let's say someone is selling land at East Legon Hills. You are interested. Okay. So what do we do now? So right now, the person needs to give you some level of comfort. And when I say comfort, the person needs to prove that he owns the land physically and he owns the land legally. Because ownership of land comes from two angles. The physical possession and the legal possession.
Right? Okay.
You may have the physical possession, but maybe legally it's not for you. It's for someone, right? That person may show up one day. He may never show up. So someone is selling the land. You've seen the land that you want to buy is in East Legon Hill. So it's either the person selling is a real estate agent or is the property owner who is selling it directly himself, or is a company that is selling. So we can ask them, okay, you are selling the land. What information can you give us? Can you show us a copy of the title to the land? Can you give us a site plan to the land? Any information that they can give us, right? They give that information to us. We do our preliminary checks and then see if we want to proceed to further due diligence. Usually what I do with my clients is when you ask them document, they will give you site plan, they will give you everything. But to be very comfortable and for my client to be very comfortable, I prefer that we go to the site, we take our surveyor there, and then you tell us the boundary. You want to sell this land to us. Can you show us the boundary of the land? So the person will point the land to you. The land is from here, 70 by 100 on this side, it's 70 by 50 on this side. So we will pick the ground coordinates. So when we pick the ground coordinates, we prepare our own independent site plan, apart from what you have. So to even start with, we just oppose the site plan that you have given to us to what we picked on the ground to see if there's some synergies on it, right?
Okay.
If it's okay, then it means to some level you are a truthful person. So we want to go ahead with the due diligence. Right?
Yes.
So at that point, we'll take the site plan to the Lands Commission. And then the Lands Commission will give us more details on the history behind the land.
Okay.
So if it's a stool land, if it's a state land, they will tell you state land. If it's not a state land, they will tell you not state land. They will tell you if it's a stool land, they will tell you the stool that owns it. If they gave a lease to someone, they will tell you when the lease was dated. If that person also sold it to someone, you see when that person sold it. If that property has been mortgaged to a financial institution,
then
you see all those information, right? When we are comfortable at that point, then we do a sales and purchase agreement.
Okay.
So when we do the sales and purchase agreement, both parties will sign. We will spell all the clauses in it. And the next step will also to test on the grounds, if it's peaceful on the ground. So usually we go around where the land is located. If it's a built-up area, you can talk to the neighbors in the area and they will give you very updated information. If they are litigation, they will tell you, hey, I had the DB amount for the second Baha or no.
I know.
If it's peaceful, they will tell you that, oh, as I say, Mr. Asume Sidia, and say, oh, okay, and Bonibia, anyhow. Sometimes you go to a place where it's not a built-up area, it's a bare land, like 100 acres. So how do you test the ground on this case? Usually they have caretakers. So what we do is that we entreat the owner of the land or the new buyer to start something. So when you start something, it can be tipping a trip of sand, tipping a trip of stone. And if there are issues on the ground, immediately you do that, the second owner will show up.
I won't let you take all the soup from the fufu. We need to keep some of it so that next week we'll continue. We have thousands of questions. So when it comes to land acquisition, trust me, I know people really want to ask questions. So in this this juncture, I'm going to stop you from the explanation. We'll hold it right there. I'm going to take few questions from the public if somebody is willing to ask a question. So that I'll reserve the rest for next week or probably next week when you have a chance to join us. So Akwesi Ampo Aponsas is very insightful. There is somebody joining us. I don't know. Kwejo Fosu. Kwejo Fosu, you're online. Do you want to ask a question?
No, I think I joined late. I didn't know what you're talking about.
Oh, right. Okay, then. So we are talking about land acquisition. Okay, so if you don't have any question to ask, let me take you out. And also niama oyeno oye baba o means money bohu onyani oba. We have Abe to ask us some few questions. Inje ofano yekpano.
Yeah, I want to ask can come a few questions. I've got a lot of questions, but I'll try a few.
Yeah, let's just ask about 2 so that we reserve the rest for next week.
Okay. One, you said state sells lands. I want to know whether the states selling lands is only in the capital cities, especially Accra, Kumasi, or Takoradi, or across the board. That's the first question. And the second question is, if somebody has a land and he hasn't got any documentation at all on it, is this something your company can help? Maybe the person has built or done all the necessary things. So is this something your company can help? I heard you saying you make some sort of investigation, you go and test the grounds and so on. I mean, is that something you can do beyond that? The rest probably will continue next week. So if you can respond to these 2 questions, that would be great.
Okay. Thanks for the question. Hello?
Yes. So Mr. Abe, you have to put it down and then for him to answer. Mr. Kankam, did you hear the questions?
Yeah, I got the questions.
Okay. Yeah, so let's hear you.
So when we talk about state lands, it's not only restricted to the capital. So there are state lands everywhere. When you go to Takrade, there are state lands there. When you go to Kumasi, there are state lands there. When you go to Tamale, there are state lands everywhere. Upper West, Upper East, there are state lands everywhere. There are state lands across everywhere. Whether you want, so if you want to buy state land or government land for some purpose, you can write officially to them, and if there are any options available, they will notify you in writing. And also, secondly, your second question is that if you own a land and you don't have any papers to it, if we can help you, yes, sure, we can probe further and find solutions for you. Maybe you bought the land years ago. Is it that you've lost the document or you don't have a document at all? If you don't have a document at all, we can do due diligence and know the rightful owners of the land. And if we need to approach them to give you an indenture or a legal document to that land, we can do that for you. So maybe you can send us a mail or you can go to our website and maybe book appointment and then we can look further into your case.
Okay, so Mr. Abe, that's the answer Mr. Kankam has given you. Yes, I'll put Mr. Kankam's number on board as we go on. Mr. Kankam, thank you so much. Chairman Kenya me ni fe money of you alone ni kasimo energy one question pon hemo ke igbediano to ejake wole ake shipon ni yo gama mi baba o dienche ake ekohu mancheme ano ekomehu individuals no wole ake gbene shipon hemo dana tranomanson wo. If you want to know the right way to go about it, Mr. Kankam, that is Egbe property data, is it Data Hub, right? Property Data Hub Limited. I'll have to put the logo on for us to know. Property Data Hub Limited. Am I right?
Yeah, you are right.
Okay, so we've got Osofo on the line. Osofo fane we plan obanyo bio question what I know.
Mr. Kanka, thank you so much for your time and skills and sharing your knowledge with us. I think Mr. Abe asked 2 relevant questions. The first one you couldn't tackle it well. He asked if there are government lands outside, other provinces that are being sold, like how government lands in Ghana, auctions.
Okay, so he asked whether his question was he asked whether they
Yeah,
are
Mr. Also for Bajo careful no banyo nwebe. Oh no. Thank you. Okay, please go on.
I think he asked whether there are government lands outside Accra. That was his question. That was the first caller's question.
Yeah, maybe. So if that's even if that's not, is it possible you can answer the second caller?
Yeah, I can answer. So you see, first of all, let me give a caveat. I don't work for the government. I don't work with Lands Commission, right? There are rumors on that. Oh, even when they are selling government lands, they sell it to the political cronies. We don't get to hear of this and so on and so forth. But I don't have evidence to those things, right?
Yes,
I know
okay.
government lands are being bought. People have access to government land. So if you need to have government land, you need to do what you need to do to get government lands. You get it?
Yes.
And there are government lands in all the regions. You can have government lands in Accra. You can have government lands in Kumasi. As I said, I mean, if you need government lands for any purpose, you can write to the Lands Commission officially on what you want to do, the region you want to do it. If it's a project, they will engage you and listen to you and see the necessary help that they can also offer. I mean, we hear rumors day in and day out, but we all cannot attest to the fact that because I know ordinary people who have also successfully bought government lands. They don't have any political affiliations, but they've been able to acquire government lands once you're able to pay for the premium.
Okay. So, Mr. Yankam, in your position or in your organization, do you have the ability to probably look for a land that is suitable if somebody wants to acquire land and doesn't know how, but you have a data hub or property something, and we know land part of getting a property. Is there any way that you do the research over an area, find lands that are available, even if they are government property lands, and how to obtain them before the person can go ahead to buy? Do you do that in your organization?
Yeah, we do all those jobs. We help companies with site selection. So currently, Domino's Pizza in Ghana, we are the company leading their site selection strategy. So everywhere that you see a Domino's Pizza, we are the people who put them there. We do the same thing for Burger King. We do the same thing for KFC. So when it comes to site selection or getting the right place for a company an organization, is something that we do. So if someone is looking for a land or he's looking for a property to do any business, the person can reach out to us and we'll be glad to help.
Okay, that's fine. And we've got him again on the line. Let's hear him.
Yes, the question is that Mr. Kankam, Mr. Abbey asks if there are government lands outside Accra, I mean, in terms of other provinces.
Yeah, he answered that. He answered that there are so many lands outside Accra.
The rate at which they sell Accra lands, government lands, is that how they sell those lands?
Yes. So you see, government. If I should put it this way, quote and unquote, government lands in other regions are, let me say, the best areas. So when you go to Takrade, the areas that are government lands are the best areas that people will want to stay.
Okay.
Are the best areas that people will want to stay. So they are also being sold fast, like the way you see in Accra.
I see. Hey, when you say best areas, what do you mean by best areas? Every land is land, or you mean areas or locations where you have access to almost everything?
I know, Mama T, when you want to build your retirement home, you build it in Airport or East Legon. You won't go to Casa.
Well, it depends. It depends, you know. When you look at the access to things where you can get easy access to, you know, various areas. Of course, nice airport area, residential area, East Legon and stuff. We built that reputation, but well, to me personally, I'll reserve my comments anyway.
Sure.
Anyway, yes. So let's move on, Mr. Yankam. Chamekeme, if you want to ask any question at all based on what we are talking about, acquiring land, plans, and stuff like that, yes, their company can do that. They can research places, locations, best locations, yes, to, you know, tell you the available lands that you can acquire, and even those that are government or stool lands or individual lands, they can do all that. That's the reason why they are here. Mr. Kankam, now let's go back a bit to this leasehold thing. You made mention of if you are being leased and it gets to the year, it's renewable. There's no way you have to refuse renewing the land to those occupying it. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I go back on records and then I realize this company acquired the land from the stool in aid of building a hospital.
Yeah.
So we've leased them. I mean, this land is being leased for like 100 years or 99 years. Now, way back those years, I wasn't born, but then I've come across this document because being part of the family or somebody in the family, aged person, been able to explain or say a few things that I've, to my knowledge. And then I've realized the land was acquired to build hospital. And my current age is telling me that particular land, all I could see is people's mansions over there. So that means the leasehold that we know we gave out is being sold to other people. What can I do?
So the leasehold that you granted for, if I'm getting your question right, it means you granted the leasehold for residential purposes, and someone is using it for commercial.
For hospital. I don't know. Hospital is resident. No, hospital is not resident. Commercial purpose.
Yes.
Okay. And now that I'm old enough to gotten this knowledge to know that this land belongs to our family and it was granted on a leasehold. Now, the purpose for which was documented to be built there, we are not seeing that, but rather we've seen people living. It's now a residential place. What can I do?
So for instance, there are some lease documents that are very liberal on the use of the land, right? Let's say there are some lease documents that are very soft. They don't really emphasize the use. They just tell you we are selling the land to you. So when it comes to the use or the land use, that one will rest with the land use and spatial planning. So let's say if you've sold the land to someone, like as you've given me in this example, you've sold the land and I want to use it for hospital. I write to the planning authorities that, I bought this land, I want to use it for hospital, right? Okay. They will come and do a survey. They will come and do their own assessment of the area and convince themselves that what you want to use the space for, the hospital, is it going to conflict with the original use of the area?
Of the land.
So if you want to use the place for, let's say, mortuary or a morgue, it's not a facility that is really going to sit well with residential use.
Yes.
If you want to use it for, let's say, a clinic, it's something that the people around you, having their residents around, is even going to benefit from it. Because you have your house, you have a clinic. If something happens to you, you can quickly run to the clinic and have a remedy. So it all depends on how the lease is structured. Some people are very quiet on the lease, the use of the land. Some people also tell you blank that this land is solely intended for residential purpose. When you use it for any other purpose other than residential purpose, it means there is a fundamental breach in the covenant of the lease. So they can initiate a court action against you and maybe let you pay some penalties or some sort of it.
So in that case, can we base on that not to renew the lease?
It can be a condition. It can be a condition, but I usually say these are some of the covenants that are easily resolvable, right? You gave the land to us for, usually it boils down to money. It means they want more money. They feel cheated. They gave the land to you for a residential house, probably to build and live in it. Right now, you've built a shopping mall there. It means you are making more money. So they also want more money from you, essentially. Once it's not conflicting with the intended use of the area, it's not putting the neighbors or people or residents around at risk. It's something that can be allowed. It's something that can be allowed. They want more money. That's usually what happens.
Right, Mr. Kankam, thank you very much. We've got one caller on the line. Let's hear him as well. Mr. Abe, Charles Abe, this is not Joseph Abe, all the way from US. Over ne oya pano Wambobutwe.
Yo, me but manye je fenye de.
Manye John Ablau. Mr. Kankam, Mr. Kwame Kankam.
Mr. Kankam, good afternoon or evening.
Good afternoon, Director.
In the UK. Okay, I have a quick question for you. The difference between the freehold and the leasing. Now, it sounds like there's a difference between the two, but at the end of it, it looks like they are the same. Does it mean the price for the real leasing to the person and the rent that will go up, or you can decide, because you can decide to terminate the thing if you don't like the guy or for some reason you don't like what he's going to do there. So my question is, it doesn't look like there's any difference, if any, just very, very, very small. If I'm going to renew this and I have bought this land in, or I've leased this land in Kumasi, and it's 50 years. Now, 50 years, I decide to renew it. Okay? They can't stop me. The only thing I'm going to lose is the price is going to go up, isn't it? Now, the rent payment might also go up. But the stool would never lose that land. I'm sorry, would never regain that land for any reason unless the person died and the stool. Can you please bring it down a little bit for us?
Okay. So if I'm getting your question right, I mean there's a big difference in the freehold and leasehold. Very big difference. So let me take you back into legalities a bit. You know, previously in the olden days that we didn't place so much emphasis on land, right? We have the stranger usufruct and the customary usufruct. So let's say Manyeti is a native of Manyeti. Which part of Accra do you come from?
I'm saying, go on. Let's mention Simperia. Yes.
Okay, Simpe. So Manyeti is from Simperia. So they will say, oh, because she's a daughter of our land.
Yes.
And she wants to farm, we will give her a place to farm. We will give her, and usually those grants were freehold grants.
Okay.
It's a freehold grant. You have it till you die. Everyone in the village even knows that, oh, I had it's for Manyeti and her family.
Yes.
That's what comes in. Fast forward, we have another type that came in. That's the stranger usufruct. I am not from Simpe, but by one way or the other, I happen to be there. I'm a stranger. I need a place to farm. So the chiefs will say, oh, and also but then the trick was that because I'm not a native, I wouldn't have the right to alienate. I wouldn't have the right to transfer it to my
someone.
A stranger. So there is a big difference. And evolve freehold now. But right now, I mean, people who are not even natives are able to have freehold. And so, but there is a big difference. With freehold, is not a terminable interest. You have it to perpetuity till that kingdom comes. You have it to perpetuity unless maybe you personally write to the stool or the family that granted the freehold. That, okay, you granted me a freehold here. I'm no more interested. Come for your land. That's where you surrender. That's where you surrender your interest. You surrender your interest to them. But with the leasehold, there's a terminable interest. One day, hate it or love it, it will come to an end. If it's 99 years, it will come to an end. Let me give you an example. It looks like he's a Kumasi man. So if you know Kumasi very well, there is a training college there called Wesley College. I don't know if you know the Manyetis. West School. They call it West School. Yes. So one of the Ashanti king, I don't know if it's Prempe Ajimaya or so, he granted the lease to the school for 999 years.
Hey, whoa.
So one day, you know, these people, they never went to school, but they could really understand the economic value of land.
Those times, yes.
They knew about lease all those while. Though they didn't do law, they didn't do anything. So that lease was granted for 999 years. So assuming that lease was even granted to an individual, it means one day, it will what? It will come to an end. It will come to an end. Yes.
Anyway, I know our time is fast spent, but let me ask some few questions that popped up on the platform. We have Akwesi Amponsai. Say, hi, Mr. Kankam. Which areas in or outside Accra is fast developing and has the potential to be great? So investors can invest in, or that is privileged information. I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I mean, I can just mention pockets of pieces. Let's say East Legon Hills, Oyarefa, down areas are all rapidly developing. But if he needs those information as a service, he may have to book an appointment, and then we can talk in depth in that.
Okay.
What he really wants to
hold
do,
on.
what he wants to use the land for, so on and so forth, and then we can properly advise him on where to look at.
Okay. All right. We've got Mr. Abi again online to ask maybe his question. Yeah, Mr. Abi Ofanayano.
Mr. Kankam, this question relates to the types of ownership you made mention. I think I remember you made mention of Alodia ownership and probably some other ownerships. I wasn't clear on that. So if you take, let's say, I'm going to use Accra, but that is because that is where I know. Under the leasehold or maybe freehold, the beneficiaries of these properties are supposed to pay some probably annual fees or something.
Ground rent.
It could be Alodia owners or something. Okay. In our case, who becomes the beneficiaries of these fees? Because I feel this sort of payments, I don't know whether it's called peppercorn payments or something. The English have some terminologies like this. I feel these things should go to the chiefs or something. Is that the case? Or who is it being paid to at the moment?
Okay. So, Mr. Abe, as you rightly said, these monies goes to the chiefs. So depending on the type of land that you have, if it's a government land, your ground rent will go to the government. That's the annual fee that you pay. That's the peppercorn rent, as you said, the technical term. That you pay to government. If it's a stool land, the money also goes to the stool. If it's a family land, the money also goes to the family. So in Ghana, our land architecture, we created an office called Office of the Administrator of Stool Lands. So that office is the agency responsible for the management of ground rent revenues. So they are in charge of collecting ground rent on behalf of the stool.
The stool.
On the stool, yes. So they collect all these ground rent on behalf of the stools. And they have a formula for sharing it. Part goes to the stool. They use some for administrative purposes. Some goes to the district assembly in which the land is located. They have a formula that they use. Is in the constitution. I don't have it offhand at the moment, but there's a formula that they use to share. So, Mr. Abe, the ground rent goes to the respectful people. But as you know, because there is a fundamental problem, because most schools, they don't have a database of land that they own. So if at the end of the month, the government comes and tell you that, okay, I was able to mobilize X amount for you, they don't even have the records to superimpose and tell you, oh, I have 10,000 lessees, so I should be able to have more or less. So that's a problem.
Based on your last thing, please don't let us go be fed. There are so many things not going right, but we are not here to show these things. We are only here to tell people how you can acquire proper registered land, what to do, when to do, and how to go about it. That's the reason why we are here. Somebody is asking, so can government take any land in Ghana?
Yes, government, per the powers vested in the government, or per the powers vested in the president, he can use the Compulsory Acquisition Act. So there's a whole act on it, Compulsory Acquisition, how to go about it. So government can acquire any land so far as it falls within the remit of the law for public safety. Let me give you an example. There are instances where sometimes they need to do road expansions.
Yes.
Sometimes they need to break part of your wall. So all those falls under compulsory acquisition. They need to create the road for public good. So they need to break your wall so that they can make ample space for the road. So government can take any land for the purpose stated in the constitution.
And then the people on that particular land, you are sure 100% that they will be compensated if their lands are being taken from them.
That assurance it may have to come from the government. I can tell you how the law should work.
Thank you so much. I think we'll leave the 30 minutes for people to call in, and when they call in, not purposely for the land thing, we'll continue next week.
Sure.
If you have any question at all based on land acquisition, we've gotten to the due diligence. We've not gone into it, but we'll do that next week with some few other questions that we have on board, and we invite Mr. Kankam again. But if you're looking for Mr. Kankam, please show yourself, and then we can direct people to your place. So how do we reach you?
So we are online. There is a portal that allows you to book an appointment and talk to us if you need anything. And we also have our numbers online. So our website is I'll put it in the chat box. Let me see if
I can show it to them.
Let me drop it in the chat box. It's
okay. I think okay. Have you sent it? Okay, let's see.
Yes.
If you have, maybe there's a delay. If you have, I'll just show it to the public, and then I'll also comment on that. We've got a caller online. Let's hear him before you go. Also McLean.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much. And good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to Mr. Kankam. Very quick question. If you are a non-Ghanaian, can you buy a land in Ghana? Now, if it's yes, what is the legal process? If it's no, why? Thank you.
Okay. So lands in Ghana are available for citizens and non-citizens. But then the rule of thumb is if you are a non-citizen, you cannot have a freehold. And if you're a non-citizen, the maximum tenure of lease you can have is 50 years. And I understand the framers of the Constitution why they did that, because you wouldn't want to leave your land to foreigners. There are some real estate markets which are very heavily dominated by foreigners. So assuming Chinese people could have a freehold in Ghana, look at how they are damaging our water bodies with galamsey. They can come into our market, buy all our land, and start doing whatever they want. So foreigners have some level of restrictions with respect to the tenure or the years that they can have. So the maximum for non-Ghanaians is 50 years. But for Ghanaians, you can have 99 years. You can have a freehold if it's an already existing freehold. You can have it from someone.
It's strange, giving freehold to foreigners. Really, really strange.
It's a security.
I don't think it's something that should be allowed.
Yes.
We still have Mr. McLean online. Oh, I think the line just gone. Okay, hold on. Yes, Mr. McLean, please, you're online.
Yeah, okay. The second question is, so what in the case of your parents have a land and they've passed on, but they will the land to you, but you are now a British citizen. Even though you're Ghanaian, you are not based in England, you are not a British citizen. What is the legal process going forward?
You are a Ghanaian, but you are not a British citizen, right?
A British citizen. Even though you're Ghanaian, you are not based in England.
Okay, so the UK laws allow dual nationality. So if you want to come and inherit if you want to come for your inheritance, it's very easy for you to get the Ghanaian nationality and come. But even notwithstanding, if it's a will to you, you don't have to you don't have to prove your Ghanaian nationality to have your inheritance.
Okay.
Because everyone can go to anyone. Manyeti can have an adopted child who is a Japanese in UK. Maybe he wants to will his property in Ghana to him. It has nothing to do with his or her nationality.
Okay, I think yes. I'm trying to show the website to the public so that they can. Let me shift it a bit here. Please pardon me. I'm not really a technical person, but I'm trying my best here. So, yes, we've got the website on board. That's about them. It's their services projects that they can do. So many and their contact, but I'll put their contact details also underneath as soon as I finish with Mr. Kankam. We'll be getting Mr. Kankam again, hopefully by next week, and if he comes, we can ask our various questions that we are not able to ask today to him. Wow. Yo. So Chairman Kenyame, I think I can BNA work Mr. Kankam will part from here. Koni ha men who chance the next 30 minutes or the next segment for them to ask any question at all, especially based on the news that came on earlier on. If not, Mr. Kankan will still be by the background in case there is a question direct straight to him. I'll bring him up to answer that for us so that we can share this 30 minutes, and after that we'll call it a day. So the telephone lines are still on if you want to call to ask any question at all or contribute to the headlines that we brought in. You can, I mean, the telephone is open, the line is open for you to do so. This is data, is it property hub, right?
Property data hub.
Property data hub. And when you open their about us, you can have a lot of questions based there. They have careers. Oh yes, they are recruiting as well, so you can go and work over there. They have services that I think if you want to buy a land, so many different services that they can do. Let's say we have strategy, they have portfolio management, there so many things. Real estate market research, they can do that for you. There are various things that they do when you go underneath their services. You can, and then they have projects in mind. So talking of projects, Mr. Kankam, so if I have a land and then I ushering that land to you to, I mean, do some projects, do you do that services as well? I mean,
we
for my land,
we do that. So from design to construction, we help people go through that phase as well. Helping you with your building design, getting your project brief, your perspective, understanding your budget, helping you with the construction, and all those things are things that we do for people.
Okay. And let's see the contacts. Let's see. We have 3 telephone lines, and their office is based on is it Amelink? How do you pronounce that?
That's what you say, Amelink.
Amelink, East Legon, Greater Accra. I'm not too familiar with some of these names we have now. So Amelink, you can find Amelink in East Legon, yes, Greater.
So for people who are extremely busy who want to use our online virtual booking system, you can book. It's just like you coming to the office, though it's a paid service. We listen to you and then we give you a solution, and we move forward from there. So you can book. When you scroll down, can you scroll a bit down for me to see if it's...
Let's see.
Yeah, so you can book an appointment online. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the consultant will attend to you.
We'll get to this one. We'll go more into details probably next week, and where we have to begin from and to complete what your area of expertise, where you come in. And then even if from the beginning I want to acquire land now, since I've seen that also in your site, how best can you help me? We'll look at all these things when we come back next week, hopefully. So Mr. Kankam, thank you so much. Is there anything last minute words that you like to share?
I think some people are asking questions on Facebook, but I don't know. I'm unable to answer them. I don't know if you can take those questions
on Facebook. Okay, I've got, let's see. Let me go to Facebook and find out. Niama, this compulsory acquisition is being used unjustly against Gadangme land. Looking at the Achimota forest issue, this instrument is a scam. Okay, that's true. Government can take any land, like Nana Addo took the land and telling to build a cathedral for Ghanaians. Stay in Britain and enjoy your tea. Oh, Kwabena, Kwabena, please. If somebody wants to go and acquire land in Ghana, please don't say that. I believe you are also somewhere and you've got a land in somewhere in Ghana. So give the person a chance to also enjoy Ghana. George Gates says, "Hi, Mr. Kanka. My late father acquired a land from his father, who was the chief of that town. But I came to realize that there is no document covering it. What should I do? Because I want to get a private investor to develop it for a guest house." That's a good thing, a good initiative. But without this, like you said, Mr. Abe came asked this very question, that you've gotten the land, all right, but no documentation to prove. But definitely it's a land from your family. I mean, you've acquired it from a family property. So in this case, what do you have to do?
So for the case of Mr. Gates, maybe we may have to go to the land and then pick the coordinate and get a site plan. That would be the basis that would be the start point. Once we get the site plan, we can do the due diligence and then see the history behind the land. Maybe the family, or maybe his father or the stool that his father was on, registered the land. And if we get that information, we may be able to advise him properly. I don't know where the land is, but then believing it sounds like the land may be in Accra.
In Accra. These are all Accra lands, so Mr. Kankam. Mel Kabwan say, is there any land left in Accra? Mr. Kankam, look, there are lots.
There are lands in Accra.
Kwamna Boating, I like your questions. Assassin one granasa.
There are lands in Accra. There are lands in Accra. Obi say assassin the baby, or see kind of baby.
Which is true. Which is true. So, Mr. Kankan, thank you so much for coming and being with us today. I know there are a few questions that we've not answered, but yes, I don't want this to end now. I want us to have more time for other ones, especially getting the land, and then the mansuchi on the lands too, if you guys can help, with the rightful documentation. I know there are cases people they've all got the document shows that the land belongs to them, but how can this be? All these are some of the questions that we need to get answers for when we come in next week. And there is one comment, let me see. It says, it said the George Gates one, said the land is in Keita Volta region.
Okay.
Keita Volta region.
Okay.
So
I mean, usually so usually Volta region lands are mostly family owned. They are mostly family lands. So maybe two or one of the elders in the family may be able to. But I mean, and also he said he wants to develop a private guest house. He even needs to check whether it's a feasible investment to even do. If it's worth it, if it's worth the money. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so all these things you can come in if the kind of project I want to, and then you can assess and see if the location is really okay. Let me just use okay for it for this particular thing. You can that's good. Then we have a lot to talk about. Work with Kemi Hamanye. We have a lot to talk about. Mr. Kankam, thank you very much, and
thank you for your time
we'll continue next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Chairman Kenya me afia ke bie wakani femo property data hub. Yes, that's the right name, property data hub. So we've spoken to them. We've asked so many questions. Kayo ni bishinliake bono kwemi biane questions baba o yo itumini ubasumo ni obi wo next week o ba ke o kai question ko ba nyon male down ke for shike ha wo next week o ba no bile e ya ke shikpon hemo ye ga etron efe ahunto wa ni ke o ya here o ba na ke menyo ke mete na ho ke me benipo langas jio me bi langas question cry ya ke wo she ko je me ayo kwe ayino da na yon kem lenche nyeminu ajila u ge nyimon kwe be na kwe wonu sane papa she all in the name of langas property ahon ha menyo kemete o ba kwe ni fe comes down to woman chameni shupon yo amede ya ka we have two lands as well ni ke wasmo wa fe political feel ya ke question say komeni e ona ke government shupon komeye manchemade allo one way or the other ake government land shibia ne government no ne ho ke ha individual o je me bia ke keji moko kwa land ko in the name of government aka ba fe project ko allo aba fe no ko credit ne agbena abandon ne balake na kanie poe eba no so many years like 30 40 50 years down the line eke wana ke government no e ho ke ha individual na kan shmo ye beni mi etumi eke ni eba no akeshmo has to a back mo shin jemefe is questionable because wole money ya anyo here ninu moko hu wi ake sometimes what happens unjake sometimes a compensate ne kemanchemene omo she amba kebu minta bi manje kwe ba ke mi aka ahishpon na government e akwa hishpon na e ha le compensation eba ona nie wo ba len shiboni man bi e boji money sani ko bon a development ni boy so ya ke manwe e sho no e keneke man Ghana eto wo Kenya ke ba ne ke no nche ofa no e pa no.
Yeah, Manyeti, like we find her or back next week, Ibaba.
Yes.
No, my take from any.
Okay.
Manyeti, you can be I'm a land commission. Or I mean, call by his shit, by his whatever it be. No fear no back to me. No one expect that she come manche me put Nambele Boni a few lord to bar. Sunny state. Land commission yo jeme ambe kabo manjoba ho nukuwe process ne na kan land commission ba no chomi bude njoba fe ni bi papa si waya case ni menisa na me kwano na me kudo manjeme ame mo no ewo ni ba ni ewo ame to amelero you first one crying by you money by you software or whatever by you Ibra Jenny Magneti or any program no you could 30 minutes or like a former Scotland premier Nicola Sturgeon or like a police emole no you on no program Boris Johnson, ex-prime minister, actually parliament, resign. Ni wa no akaye me no pagile. No okay US ana a challenge ole. Ke taflache feni ne yadenche wo ke buam. Manyeti no ni government, many to ame government. Ni ame fe washikojin, wonujin. Ke no fia no ke galamsi mini yo jamu fenakai. But when you work no fiano man no fiano wo day. Ni bona jo ko wa ke so ba no ba protect wo. No ke me afa komi me yo ka mentemi na me fite di bi je na me fite am mi pay. Am fite am onabi ona na kanswa ono fiano. Square after 10 years or so ke ya oba na ni bi me ni ba gbo ye Ghana. Ni were president ni no ne pede yeje nyagale ne shetichi ko ye ago ya
okay Mr. okay na go Manuel na wa
oh mama na go no feel mama na go no ni akufado epo enye che Professor Mills Professor Doolittle
Ay.
You why are you okay? You are me day. Now me protect you. Go na me fe wo. Go yeah. Mini yo mususha. Ke jamo fe no na akufo ado e ka Ghana ya se ni. Manati what time me ko I don't tell you ka boy a Ghana do lo se si ko fe ka ba. Si many yo de na me better opportunity.
Okay.
Oh no. Bro for me ama me ta si di boko ba ga leader do ko lu ame. O ta ba gbo.
David.
Oh, that French Revolution, go on. No one je mambi. Na me complain. Queen ka me nya me blow do. Ba me cake.
Mr. Abby, fine. Hold on, here, Jemmy. Incha waya pano. I want to be. Offer no na magbe on 1533.
Hello, Manyeti.
Oh, hello. Manye juna abla. Offer mo man phone eh.
Manchester.
Oh, hello, City Tete. Wanda chofeleshi.
No bibi ope.
If you know piano. Yo. Okay.
Excuse me to say,
hey, me your fire. Me your fire. Na catch me San Henry.
Come on, like any president. Come on, you famous. Come on, character. Come on, a justice. Hey, we are if you look. Abumo. Neighbor, a datu. Yeah, money, yes, suba. No, if you look at Zaka Catani, Catani, don't know what I say. If you're more big,
oh, funny. Oh, you're right. Okay, if I want to know him more, oh, you're right. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Yo, Mr. Abel Fanayano.
Yeah, no, Magneti. Menika onupa ejiwo. Onupa jeli na ashweke geno do park no na get bad mo yin.
Dabi.
Sibo kudo wo fen wo ka wo life e wo de. Ona boni ncho. Si wo mam ye, wo ni amen na ka si onupa ele ka wo onupa be so wa ye me rough keke. No fe no su.
Am I a man rough?
Ana Donald Trump what na fiole. Ka wo mani o, me na yo onupa da, ma ba ye pu ni ne ka na fiole, but you so na fiole.
Be me man wi ake. Wonu pa ye he. A hold the accountable ne one ya no lolo. That's what
Many more Johnny. Catch no, no, bana while I told you, no, bana while they can't go for the coffee and the meal. Allow me to go down banana wale.
No more anybody.
But I won't let me let you.
Hold on 1 minute. Offer man for New York man, I won't know. Ona Magbuana 7423.
Hello, Magneti.
Papa.
Near you mean
Catherine, you, Fanayano.
Offer the moon contribution feeling about Nina Plamano, Noni by Ganiji Akufuado, Jordan Bokwake Mandetashi. And then, on a non Samuel Liakis. Kedi o town Bemafi patriotic in the country. To be Makoe, Benoya, Squimenda Como, Sumia will the pledge. I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland.
And I call Lolo, ain't you? I roll Lolo.
Because how can you be faithful to a country? On your people will be as many reports school ya put it here. They will get army. Ni order Manchakesi petition. Meanwhile, matter of statement ni Mr. Abbey here. If you really want to see how people are patriotic, put your people need to come in, put them in order. No, okay. They are patriotic. In terms of policy, the one man.
Okay.
Manchester independence anthem. The one to see Oyimano Duba. David, where to come? No natural resources. No land. The politicians, they have Chinese speak other people, other pollute. Our water bodies, fairly organ polluted. Is this patriotism? Any patriotism in Mokoni and Manche, independence anthem, it was sunny. No, if you really want to be patriotic, you have to do your best for the country in terms of policy. Nobody will mind fee. The guy be you actually Akufo-Addo. Like I was so Otofo in Manchaloe, because I mean Christianity cover me here. I mean you know about you actually Akufo-Addo neke Akufo-Addo neke and Akufo-Addo never talk president. Nipi enye ibanye you actually fake had Gadangme. The next year you actually Ibaneba saga. The wife president ona kolene you know about Gadangme. Okay. La polyclinic, anyhow. The best school, Massy Salaga market for how many years? 20-something years. Millennia say, you can get a man, get a palace can have a man. Millennia fake how. You come on here, now won't do to bar. You won't follow politicians' name because when the pop went on up to in terms of same number now blocks get it there. These are all strategy for them to hold grip on power. Because I mean actually maybe they will be going out. When the case block number can it be a fair voter population. Okay. And they will capitalize on that. Enemy fair strategy. It's a green smoke. Okay. Come and feel when okay. What commenter? Oh fine you. What oh fine you. In the bushishi, she sim block me ejeme no ni ma wie ya ke femi ake tatulet be na ke ha koni menfe anyafe registration na mefe be enifa ya ke e ba sha ko Ghana card efe mo ya fia hunto inamoko na eto efe Ghana card over 2 months ni lololo afeko hakule wo ke eto ni e register a card with the sim ni eninisha ko card no te ba fe ten e register ona o jemele no jino na esa ni wo fo he ni anye akwele ojugba shibia ne oslawusun ke le no ni pe ba anye fe eji ake meni ameshika yo card no le amenya meje shika apart from that le course ke ni biele amenya me kefe no jino ni mo efemi ake ebe to me it's not fair. Wes ani akwe eya ke the time given is ani registration na ya no efe kumo manemi benimini ake ababo in congesting charge UK to almost 2 years ni abo hewie mo awie ya what time be na ba implement mo fia mo efe used to ake by chechopo agbena esa neba ona mo fia mo got used to ake lele no kumba nekeni ne ake afe education awie she Ghana well mi embeje me no ni news journalists reporters ke ba ha wo no ni wo yo he da say she mo kenkwe be na ke ha for neke period ni isani SIM card registration ke ameba Ghana card ya there to me if looking at our structure that we have back home where you put things ready for everyone access what back on abrochi biene accessibility to registering things online can it be a easy for ham of fiamo she Ghana benaka menkwenye menkenche meniyo aklowako na mlenche electricity eshako jamo jugba ameya amefa agbeke ya hekoda na ma here data kenaka nibie meneme fe were they put into consideration Danny for that time period there na Danny ene banalo ene menike fie ehani egbana fio she like we said mam menye ya one another caller Mr. Abi among more if you among my if you Polimano Babio no fanewa. Miss Mama Jane intra ma je ofane ka ke no so twa ko e ba ngon na wa mi kpabo fai ke no shla no so o twa ko ni manaboye system me ojugba bfa phone na fia ke battery egbo shi wo ba sort le out wo ba sort la wo ni ayi ofane ka wa gbe na dani ma je aba no papa based on statistics now in terms of many register for voters registration I'm telling you, as at now, I register more people in Kumasi than Accra.
Okay.
And they have extended their time for them more than Accra, need more PCS. We're more our limited time for voting. Meanwhile, places need to be better than more. I extend my time. Any strategies for them to consolidate their grip on power. I'm telling you, with time, it will come out. Because as I'm telling you, I read about 3 million, if I am not mistaken, if I'm not getting the data right, more than in Kumasi, more than Accra. How possible?
Okay. Inu. Okay, one mama Jane, no be a fire, one mama Jane who I read in Nokoni, Wagbene, Wakeni Fimo, Abana, go fan away. Yo, ma jo fan or your pano.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to everybody.
Mafia, my hero, no.
Only you ever year, what actually was she and you in the case and in there. Can't fobble your buko, allow your buko. Come on, go care, Boaka, Ufwado, and Daniel, you ask a question. Yes, you ask a question, honestly. Because meaning the buko. In Mammy made your two blow can be one. I could again, Daniel. Somebody it takes them to pass through.
Okay.
Yeah, Daniel. Yes. No, you can't only you are. In to get be a for a minute to me. I follow. Yeah, they can't follow. Yeah, Daniel. Can now me now let my be funny because I have questions for him. When you can't only you are, I would now bully for little trash alone. I can go on my jacket. I could follow a Daniel. Yeah, Daniel. If I told you because I make a papa small bag. I'm an Indian, I make a bag and you miss so I do not make it sure now. In the boxing ring, give me a Galadomonia farm. Because when can I get boxing or come I'm going to? I could want to look a boxing ring. Young bed of Moshia, your farm on you. Whenever I realize that you are here, that's fair enough. At the end of the day, I don't think that can truly, you have a land in Ghana. There's something going on. Why is it that the most often Gadangme, when you promotion, they rather intend to get involved in this. What a why she called. Ni we Ghana ga telephone for she. We go on aka. E can be Anthony na ga ni no ga send me both. She no what no why she called. Ni be like a more we ga na we tree. So me agbele ni aka telephone ha me ni be like e ma mi e mo no we. Na te na we na bon. She e bon Gadangme mo. Ni we ga telephone for she. Na try be le e jale jogba na kala ke Gadangme na se ga ni. Ga fa mo bi jile. E kala ka ma domo she na kala ke. E ani ai jipon ye. Ni ne mun ko do. No, you have no one you are to buy. Just like any bad promotion, really can't. One game, what you want, young girl. I'm on a whole land, say. I'm a normal home, she wants me. And I've experienced it twice. He experienced shame you. Many to the land say, boy, so try now make up a higman about trashy. Ya, a cat will you back. I like a book need a car, no about me, so I'm a tune. That's all I have to say. Okay. Yeah. That's all I have to say. Yeah, no, me, car, I'm quite a comment to say if I do, shall not fall in it. No, you should speak the truth. My chair, let me. At home, man, Chinese morning, and at home, man, Chinese. At home, man, Chinese. I
choco, sister, I choco. No, Jenny, okay. It's an abbey.
Okay, even the reaction of how the president, somebody president, yeah, challenge. The president shouldn't behave like that.
Yo, sister, you're
attitude it wasn't nice.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Monocle, let's be silent. Only Paddy and the Mondial shoe. Everybody, she was not afraid, no continue. Hey! Na kaka abu we go president. What? Well, it's not on.
Sister, how you are
It's not on. Okay, bye bye.
You are done. What be a Phoebe? What be a Phoebe cry? You thank you. Danny Kele by last minute. What by last minute? How was that? Thank you very much. Thank you.
The national anthem the Ghana kai abuchi about national anthem. Alu kai about alu. Ni ekule manchena hila kumbena. Ekule nyezi moshi. Ekule nukuni bena. Ayane apikule. Ubana tuika kuna nabi yake au ni nuwe ntaja mini nukubena lo. Shake mi fuesi.
Yo, inche. Oyirado. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Boy, you are done. Swalaba. Oh, you're a dog. Yo, Chave Kenya me. I guess swalaba swag again. Baby and the baby, how he be? No work any more about. But you know more track. If I can radio stations a fair cut. Whoa. Yeah, you're a don. I'm a quick comment if you Danny Agbenenke and Abu Abashikra. Gabriel, after take quick, man, you are doing a great job. Gabriel, oh, you're a don. Nan, nyuma wako, okay. This issue about Ghana card is not. It's too bad. You, if you can structure are put in place, and I believe so many disadvantages here. He needs an akwe structure ojugba nonibawa. Hey man, last call agwene Obama Rick afemina kan 5 echa kafemina kan sane mateshimaya. Anyway, in pico more me no yo kemoke how just under 1 minute to find out. Hello?
Hello, ma.
Yes.
Magnetic.
Yes.
Menga table
table hearable no.
Quick one. About Akufato meaningful and debate. On our question, baby, kill not you know about you for me about on reaction, a crowd me. It's a program noted as a president. No, on our connect as the Nokumia. Oh, yeah, may not a banyan, I'm a banyan, but on a debate, a tantrum. Maybe Kufua Eka warning about what Hamokoba is very careful. And then it was if actually more. Ekola ba Germany, baka no nya happy no. Ekola mo ya hewala neba. Ekola neba take e feel okay. Alo no ko no ha me ne feel. Ete alo no ko. You know? Oh, government tene yo. It's attitude. Na ka bene yo. There is nothing that anybody can do. Well, none of you is wrong.
Okay.
To me, he shouldn't have reacted that way. As a leader, you don't do certain things in public. Because the kind of person you are. Honestly.
Yeah, you know.
Many mutu e yo ke ha game na wa na aduga shpo ke ni bi e wa na aduga shpo ke ha wo kume ke ni bi ke ha wo kume ke e na bi ke ha wo se kume ni wa game wo to ba fe de
Yo, sister Inuboshishi, impikibon no, you are done. Or Benon wa conclude ake, Unukpani na kind moment action and exhibit. Point esani ibale na kind yo. Sister Bon o you are done. Chaman Kenya men, if you are a tree a cash shabwe, become oh here boy no any udam. Let me when you're no few fa or be Phoebe. It's mama back to the whole scenario. She yes, sometimes keji otwi shaboneke ona. Oh, I thought that no joy. No, mom. Sometimes you have to remember who you are and the place you are standing, opposition, no dam or location, ni honey inform or action. Or sometimes ka ofe no pony mistake, me honey men question ni menepa ni fio na kan wo in this scenario wake president pani efe na ke boing be na unala ke no na efie a position e damo esani kwen a hesitate on na kan type of action agbene hu monitor shi hu ni ete shi ele hu wole tafla che no ni he woni tashi wo shukwen me ndwemmo mi ke ni le mie to me ma ni mo na agbe na ekenchu na abilesani ake mini hewo ni beni na kan lala etashi ni eteshi ihe ni men ana minfu no jimi ihe ni men ana minfu ake mi efu ake etashi ni ma instruct mo kwa ake ya abilesani ake ma be etashi ami na kan posh ne mi beni nale mi ekule fe mi fo boni bo ekule boni bo nale bo fila ke ipepepe mi jinu shimofia mokobo ni inani chika oya adwen hi oba na ake esani wo ha ni be pie o minfu blanche po na ke ye fo ye po ko ye hia sam be ko obi fio no ko ke onyo wo no ko po aka ka atwale na ka moment na kan that time ni Germany o control esa no control ni eja ke oyinto ni no ofon ke twale je no plale shi minfu o be no ba le shi ni ya twale ni he na twale e ba chon feta e ka gbe na o shohi o na ka moment ni minfu kon bo ke no ni o na o ngbe na no ni minfu kobo no to fe action Germany sanin o na gbe no ni o ba apply wisdom ni o control na kan Germany ko nyo control pe o ba na ke dane o sane yemi Shona shike o control na kampe no matter how right you are o sane yo mi de encheke onyo control na kan small 2 seconds scenario pe but ofito sane efe na kanoko ni wonale ni wo hio ake wo fe won kase ni yemi ofe won kase ni yemi nya ma ha comment ka agbene wo call don piki mo call don Phyllis Doduke Manyenati, God bless you, keep up the good work you are doing. Phyllis Oyuradon, Mr. Donko, okay, thank you, a big sister, for teaching us, etc. God bless you. Mr. Donko, thank you so much also. James Nati Lamte, James oko WhatsApp me ona yo makweke o WhatsApp me bomode no so fe mi hi ekumbia na yake jene kule magbenda shi an hour messages na yen phone no ta flache mokomeji mi gboma desajimi je fe manyama answer no kwale ekomepe messages ni ba I can get over 200 messages within 10 minutes ninye ma ya fe no because I have something doing wo fan e call send me hi bia ne no le manabo ye here she for all I know o message no send here hot to 1,000 and over inye mana ni ma answer wo anukwale ekomepe nyuma wako ke arrogant James Oyuradon okay manyana please just switch on you just switch on here yo Gabriel bohu Oyuradon me fa Daniel take more fire Mr. Abe Kwabna Boati ke Mr. Abe is a chief in my village Mr. Abe ba ni na boye jen yo ke so many messages ni ba ni abiation back a good information ni Oyuradon Daniel take Mr. Bra can come thanks for educating us well done Oyuradon you work okay me hamanye wo herebu no kan ke jeshishi wo efetimo konimaya San George Huba efa nkwa wa bie nyefe nye Oyuradon acho me shikomeko manyana adokalo jengma tembi sempe yomokra ajimi una mi hie ne inche ejilebe shidaji nye no akenye kwe once again my wish oblayo ne ye US omene o birthday inya no commission ye pe egbe na ya reho My Eunice, I'm wishing you a very beautiful happy birthday today. Me ake bene ne agbe Sunday hunele bene o chili wa de and check if you no send me photos ni manna. So this is to Eunice. Happy birthday to you. Abeka la paz oh tro abeka bi fenya yuradon ake nyeba kwemi ni nye jale hu mene of 4 days mene pe ni moko eshem program ye heko ni muoni nation no wo mene mi eshe wa I've never ever done me ha mi junk ni bi ni mbotwe shingmene moko eshe a program ye lenwe profile no eni bi ya hu ni iya mo a share to me, which I do really appreciate that. Oh, money fe na kan yura don, nya jana kan no ne eya shon, nya yura don. Benu agbe na nenke, nhwe ke isolomoje ake. Ochine dani, ochine ni wa ajenshi ne. Chofele afata wo fen wo he. Ekwe wonoke ya, nekwe wonoke ba. No fia no ni ya momi ochine, ehwere ne chonjo mo ke ha wo. Ni dane wakaya ke, ni woye wala, woye no fia no. Chofele ajowo. Ingbeku manyeti nye yura don bia inkeni fimo baba na gbe wo kenya nu here wo so chie o baba eku nye yura don.